BBBS, and then get streaming in the Boo Tubes.
Streaming in OBS.
Alright, we should be live. Let me just make sure no babies were hurt in the recording of this.
Streaming in OBS.
Cool. The first thing I get to hear is Nyarly going streaming in OBS. Alright. I guess we'll give a second for the show to start. Just so the YouTube wheels can start spinning. Though I will say, the one nice thing as opposed to Twitch that I always like for live streaming is if you come to it late, you can't always just immediately rewind back to whatever point you want. Whereas with Twitch, the amount of times where I'm watching something and I'll be like, oh, I missed this, let me go back, I then just mess it all up.
I don't know why. I went to YouTube and I'm like, because I wanted to pull it up for the chat, and I look up SMT Network, and one of the first results is not the spoiler cast, but one of your other episodes with Nyarly, and it's just an image of two couches.
Dude, we'll tell this story before we start the show to get everyone in here. Okay, so that episode was back when I didn't have a computer and had to do episodes on my iPhone. So we would just record with my iPhone in the middle, and those two chairs are where our butts were. The left butt was his, and the right butt was mine. We just sat there and talked about DLC. That would have been October at Japan Fest, almost a year ago. Do you remember that, Nyarly?
Yeah, back when conventions were happening.
Dude, how weird is it? Yeah, it's going to be the first year with no Japan Fest. But that was so funny because, we just found a corner in our old... Well, I went to JUCO. Did you ever go to JUCO at all?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So,
I took 5 or 6 classes there.
Solid community, solid community college, I will say. As the only other Kansanite here, I don't know, Greg, do we count you as a Kansanite, or do we call you a Missourian?
Don't count me as a Kansanite or a Missourian. I'll take a Bostonian.
Oh yeah, you're a Boston boy. The only Boston jokes I can think of are actually from the canceled Aqua Teen Hunger Force Boston episode, so all my jokes are now meaningless. Well, hey, shout out to everyone who's joining us live already. David Cast, Meme Generator, Let's Happy, Mirth, Fat Kid, 481, and Saltendo. We're just going to get started with the show, so assuming everybody is good to go, are we golden?
As much as I'm going to be.
Alright.
I'm good.
How's it going, everybody, and welcome to Shin Megami Tensei Network, Link 187. That is right. We have finally made it here. The big day has happened. The big P, the big 5, the big S has been announced. Persona 5 Station 5 pre-orders are up. PlayStation 5 has been announced. And here I brought all of my friends. I remember I sent all the invites out. I got Big Willie Style. I got Dwayne the DJ Rock Johnson. I got Michelle. One of them made it here. Everyone else also got invites, but I don't think wanted to come. So I'm your host, Spencer Presley. Joining me on this 5-person packed grand finale episode to end all 5 finale episodes is... Let's see, who should go first? Obviously, we have Big Daddy Virgil in the middle of the screen here. He'll be very quiet as possible. We'll go in terms of importance to least important. So first up, we have my good friend, my life coach, very unkempt friend who's not a Missourian, Greg. Greg, how's it going?
Today has been an awesomely shit day. That's all I can say. It's been great, and it's had lows, so we'll go with that. I'm all right.
I'm ready to hear about those lows. Next up on the list, if we're introducing anyone, you got to introduce this person first. Nyarly, how's it going?
Pretty boring.
That's
how my day's been.
You just saw 40 minutes of new PlayStation things.
Okay.
And your first one is boring.
Before that, it was boring.
Okay.
Sounds like it.
I'm like, it's not like the whole stream was Five Nights at Freddy's or whatever. I'm sure there was one thing in this you thought was cool.
I'm an Xbox fan. It was pretty boring.
Speaking of Five Nights at Freddy's, we have number 1 Wattpad Arthur, Ozzy, in the chat. Ozzy, thank you for joining me now 2 weeks in a row. I think if you join me next week, you legally have to be my permanent co-host for the rest of the year.
Crap, I gotta block you real quick.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, today's been slow-ish. but it's only getting slower from here, so I'm ready.
Speaking of slow, I saved the best for last. Michelle, how are you doing with your reaction stream, which your own co-host has said, and if I'm reading this quote right, he said slow. How's it going?
That is what he said. I agree, and thank you for having me. It is Ozyak 2.
Ozyak 2. Electric Boogaloo.
Yep.
I like to think of you as the Gremlins 2 of Ozzy 2s. For you kids out there, Gremlins was a movie before your parents were having sex. Nyarly, I'll give you one sentence to describe the plot of Gremlins 2 so we can get the show started.
I haven't seen it.
That was the joke. All right, everybody, thank you for that very long intro. We're going to be talking all about the PlayStation 5 news that came out today. Why? Because this is Shin Megami Tensei Network, and if we're going to be a weekly podcast, god damn it, it's this or Disney Infinity retrospectives. You had your choice. So, PlayStation decided to drop a mega bundle bajillion pieces of news, and by that I mean on the weekend they randomly just kind of farted out a tweet saying, hey, it's our turn. We got to announce stuff now. So I kind of want to roll it back for you guys and just kind of ask, when you saw this tweet go up over the weekend, did we all just kind of have that universal thought of, okay, this has to be the price and this has to be the date? Did anyone think there was any chance we weren't getting it today?
That's pretty much what I thought.
Yeah.
If it wasn't gonna happen now, I think the system would just be canceled. That's about it.
They don't even get to delay it. It just has to be canceled. Like it's just going to be in vaporware.
Listen, any Western release that features the letters P, S, and 5, one of those isn't a letter, but it's basically just going to be a ghost. That's all I'm saying.
I just kept saying, like, if they don't show off the price this time, it's going to be extremely funny, and I will laugh very hard.
That's really, really great. So for this episode, since we have a pretty stacked guest list already in front of us, it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to be breaking down all of the news in terms of what happened, but without getting too specific, we're basically going to be going over everything all the way from Final Fantasy XVI to spoilers, God of War Ragnarok, and be talking about each game, kind of what we think, just little stuff like that. We'll be able to talk as much or as little as possible. I don't think every game is going to get as deep of a dive. Like, I don't think we're going to be talking about Miles Morales as much as we're going to be talking about Hogwarts Legacy. But hey, tying this back to Disney Infinity, Hogwarts Legacy, made by the guys who did Disney Infinity.
I'd rather talk about Disney Infinity right now. I've never played it, but I want to talk about it.
It's a little bit like this game Minecraft. It's a little indie game. So you got your little plastic figures. Let me tell you about the crystal variants. No, so we do not talk about Disney Infinity.
I grew up Skylanders, but with Disney.
That's actually the most insulting thing you've ever said on this podcast, Nyarly. That's one strike. You got me to stumble up on myself. That might actually be the most insulting thing I've ever heard. Skylanders, but Disney Infinity. So, what we're going to do, because I have to overly complicate everything, is while we're going through each major game, we're going to have a little game playing in the background for all 5 of us, where we have a highlight and a low light. Each highlight we're going to call out at the start of each game topic, and each low light similar. So how are we going to signify that? The only way that I could relate this to somewhat SMT properties. If something was your favorite, your highlight, you just say, oh, that's my Caligula, based off the amazing, everyone played on the Vita and loved it, Caligula. Also, if something is your low light and is bad, and you just don't like it or just want to make fun of it, you say, that's my Mind Zero, everyone's budget dollar general store version of Persona 3, also on the PlayStation Vita. I'm sensing a trend here. So does everyone get what's the highlight and what's the low light? And I swear I said it originally the first time, Greg. Don't call me out on this.
You definitely switched it again.
No, I did not. Caligula's the highlight. Mind Zero's the low light.
That time you got it.
Don't start with me, Michelle. Not tonight. So everyone's got this.
Alright, sure.
All right. So let's just get into this because this show started off with, I'm going to say, a bang. I know, at least Greg, you are also a big Square stan. So Final Mother effing Fantasy 16, and I'm just going to start this off. This was my Caligula, hands down.
Agreed.
So you and I are probably going to talk about this the most. As the three other people in the chat, where are you guys at with Final Fantasy fandom? Nyarly, I want to hear from you because I actually have no idea how you feel about the series.
I've only played the old ones. Like, I'm talking like...
Don't say
I
seven.
haven't really played much of anything after Final Fantasy IX.
Okay. Well, is there a reason? Just like it didn't interest you?
Well, it's mainly because I know it's mainly because ever since over the last 10 years, Final Fantasy has kind of gone away from the turn-based combat, and I know some of the ones after 9 are turn-based, but I don't know. It's just I don't know. To me, Final Fantasy. So
just because it got rid of the turn-based is when it lost you.
Yeah. Well, I also prefer Final Fantasy in 2D, as crazy as that sounds.
Oh, no. I think that's probably... I think with a lot of the older crowd, that's definitely still a lot of the nostalgia. The two things I always hear the most, at least with my friend group, if they aren't a fan of it anymore, it's they miss 2D or they want tactics to come back. Those are the two most vocal things I always hear.
Yeah, I actually have not played Final Fantasy 3 yet, and that's mainly because it doesn't. There's no 2D remake 1 and 2 or 4 got.
Don't play 3 Final Fantasy. 3 sucks ass.
Really bad. Okay. Really bad.
Just remember, Final Fantasy IV is the better version of Final Fantasy III because they remembered to put a story in that game.
Yeah.
So
it's all Game Boy Advance.
So Ozzy and Ozzy 2, what is your guys' where's your hype check for the Final Fantasy, let alone 16?
So for me, I have played a whopping 1 Final Fantasy game, and it was Mystic Quest on the Wii Virtual Console when I was 10. Ooh. Yeah, that's my life. So I don't really have any history with the series at all. So I mean, it's awesome that's happening. I mean, a new Final Fantasy game is friggin' hype no matter what. But I don't really have any personal attachment to it at all. But it looked pretty good from what I could tell.
I'm very passive on the series. I am excited when new games come out. I'm like, that looks neat. But also, the only game I've ever actually completed is the first one.
It's a classic.
For some reason. It is.
Dragon Quest 1 and Final Fantasy 1 are very similar in that sense of they're so short, you kind of have to beat them unless you just really don't like it.
Yeah, they're short, simple, not really short enough to do anything offensive. It's just a needle experience.
There's no wrong answer here. I'm just legitimately curious. What was the version you played of FF1?
The Wii Virtual Console, yeah, but I'm right there with... See, but I actually played a good game.
I mean, at least, Michelle, you weren't my first experience with the series and only. I watched the Pro Jared Mystic Quest review, and then it's all been downhill from there.
There we go.
I have seen his Mystic Quest review. I will say that. My only experience, I watched the CGI movie. I forget what it was called.
So, I know I've chewed all of your guys' ear off, less so Michelle, but, especially, Nyarly and, Ozzy, how out of all of my, bukkake loving of Final Fantasy VII Remake, how did that, how have you guys just been nah, not gonna play it this year?
So,
I was busy playing another game at the time. I will not name it. But, it was a neat game.
Yeah.
I talked about it once.
Being poor, I had a budget for 2 games this year, and they were Spelunky 2 and Persona 5 The Royal.
So you had an $80 budget.
Yeah, that's it. That's me. No, sorry. No, it was a $110 budget because I brought Royal Special Edition.
Okay. Forgivable. And I'm guessing, Nyarly, your big thing at the time was you were probably balls deep into Doom Eternal.
That, but I mean, also I played the demo and I wasn't that big a fan of the gameplay, and it also isn't the full game, so that kind of just I kind of just didn't have a lot of interest in it to begin with.
Well, I'm going to shut you down because guess what, Home Skillet, that was a full-ass game. Speaking of full-ass games, Greg, I've left you in the sidelines for too long. You've been quenching your thirst long enough. As someone who loves Final Fantasy almost as much as 1/4 as I do, how hyped did this trailer get you?
100%. When it first started, I was like, "Oh, cool! Here's Demon Souls," because it showed that bonfire thing going, and then
that's so insulting. So insulting, but I can't deny it.
as soon as they showed me the tattoo, I was like, "Let's go! All right, this is what we're here for." I was skeptical that it was going to be 16 because we've heard the rumors, but as soon as it started getting into like they showing you the summons, I was every bit in, and that it just unfortunately the event went downhill from there for me.
Wow. Okay, well, I have a lot more questions to ask, but I'm going to at least say this. I don't know if this is going to resonate with anyone, but what made me the most excited for this, I had one word for you guys, and it's going to sound like two. This game gave me huge, huge, huge Kingsglaive vibes. Like from Final Fantasy XV's like movie with Aaron Paul.
I can see that. I was definitely seeing some Game of Thrones vibes out of it.
And I'm fine for that. It seemed like this to me, and I don't know how much this is going to resonate, but like, and tell me if you feel like this is kind of wrong, Greg. This felt like the 3D equivalent of a Final Fantasy IX. Like, this is, we're going to go back to our roots while still looking as pretty as ever. Like, we're simpling it down. Here's kingdoms, mystical quest, a small core cast of characters, and it's about crystals. Like, the big word for that trailer was crystal, crystal, crystal.
It seems like the first like proper medieval FF in a while.
Because a lot of them, like, we probably haven't had, like, proper single-player medieval since, like...
6?
No, I want to say 9.
Yeah.
And even 6 I wouldn't count. 6 is very, like, much, like, kind of futuristic, like, steampunky.
Yes, I consider 9 to have some steampunk to it as well.
They definitely all have trends for it. So did anyone here notice who the developer at Square Enix is working on this?
No.
This is being developed by, I shit you not, the developing team on 14.
Oh!
So the same producer from Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn is producing now, at the same time, 14 and 16.
Alright, that raises my hopes a little.
I'm going to give a shout out to at Old Man Mookie883 on Twitter, because he was the whole time as we were watching this, screaming out, "Oh, those look like the model characters from 14. So we thought at first it was some sort of expansion, but yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out.
Yeah, so like that should make a lot of people very, very happy. That team has just been hitting it on all fronts of like music, presentation, and most importantly, story. Like, if you ask any big Final Fantasy fan right now who plays 14, the big thing for them is how much they love that story. So if they can even hit on that on like a tenth of the scale, I think this will be really, really great, because even for someone like me who loved the story of 7 Remake and loved the story in 15, those games still are convoluted, and they're still very much so like not a easy recommendation. And I think if like, because they committed to this being like, hey, this is not going to be split up into parts, this is not part of a trilogy, like they came out there in the blog post after the saying, hey, this is a straight up old school Final Fantasy, you buy it, it's single player, that's the whole game, we're not splitting anything up, here's the story. Like, just that alone makes me so excited, because as like already as someone who's like a huge Final Fantasy fan, it's just nice to have something to look forward to that looks this done. Because like when I was watching the trailer, I don't know how you guys feel who were less excited about it. Visually, I was amazed at how good of a look we got at not only the story but the gameplay for something that this is its first debut ever, and like nothing really major leaked from it.
Yeah, when was the last time we got a like big game reveal that actually showed gameplay the first time it was shown? That hadn't happened in centuries.
That's tough, because a lot of times there are things, yeah, we already knew about, like a Fallout 4 or whatever. So yeah, it's hard to nail it like that, especially in this era of like things leaking all the time. Like I was amazed how, unless I missed anything, like nothing really leaked from today's showcase. Like everything was news.
Not that I know of, no.
So yeah, Final Fantasy 16 wise, I'm just like, if anyone knows me, I'm a huge, big, dumb Final Fantasy fan. I could not eat this up anymore. It's something I do want to ask you guys about. I don't know how big of a deal you guys think this is going to resonate in general, but this is a console exclusive, just like Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1. I think that's like just a total win. Like, I think they've done it with some smaller games, and I'd heard PlayStation was going to be trying to nail a lot more console exclusives, but I think like having Final Fantasy VII and 16 all be PlayStation exclusive at launch, I view that as just like, hey, when we talk about why PlayStation is still such a big deal and important, it's big ass exclusives like this. Like, even if you don't care about it, like, those big exclusives get people's attention. Like, how did you guys feel when you saw that it was exclusive?
I mean,
Well, okay. Well, when it says console exclusive, does that mean it's like actual PS5 exclusive, or does that mean it's also coming to PC?
That means
that's the thing.
That means
It's-
so for 16 specifically, they have clarified it's coming to PS5 and PC as confirmed, but it is going to launch exclusively first on PS5, just like 7 did.
Well, here's the thing, because they also had some weird confusion, I guess jumping ahead slightly with the news of with Demon Souls, where they had also listed that as having a PC release, and then later had to clarify that was an error. We didn't actually mean that. It's not going to have a PC release. It's just going to be on PS5.
That one I'm willing to say is literally just an error, because like Sony has right now done one recent PC port, which was many years after its release, so like they wouldn't even market it, like, but so many of the other games were also coming to PC. I'm sure that was just like a template error.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, coming out the gate for this one, it felt like the lead up, all the cuts they were putting together with the audio before they even showed off Final Fantasy 15 or 16 rather, felt like they were already slinging shade at Xbox and Microsoft, like, hey, we hear you, we're coming for you. I don't remember the exact verbiage they used from their cutscene, and they dropped this with the console exclusive. It just felt like a 1-2 punch, like, yeah, we know you might have the more powerful console, but you don't have games.
I wouldn't be surprised if it comes to Xbox One in like a year or two. Kind of like Nier Automata.
I'm willing to say this right now. 16 is never coming to Xbox One. It's only gonna, if it comes to Xbox, it'll be a Series X S only. I don't think that they can run it on base hardware, because even this, I doubt we're getting a PS4 version of 16.
No.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean Series X.
Oh, okay.
But like, I mean, like No Man's Sky eventually got an Xbox One port. Nier Automata got an Xbox One port. So I don't see why this wouldn't happen on Xbox Series X.
I don't think
I have a
100%
rebuttal.
surprised.
I have a rebuttal.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
It's Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think it'll come to Xbox at all. I think this will stay 100% console exclusive on PlayStation, and then it will have the PC port. I don't think you'll ever see this game in a green box.
That's my guess, yeah.
I'm thinking, so it's a couple of different things where you have to think about it, of like, think about the market that Square is kind of in, where they need to do it or not. Like, technically next year, nothing is stopping Final Fantasy VII Remake from coming out on Xbox One. But Square has to be rational and kind of think of, in a post-Series S and X world, why port that to older, harder to develop for hardware when you can just kind of move it ahead? I think depending on how the S and the X does, that determines the fate of 16. If it matches the sales pace of the one, it'll probably stick in the blue box forever. But like, I don't think that there's anything realistically stopping them in terms of doing it. Like, a good example is, look at Final Fantasy XIV. The only thing that ever stopped that game from coming to Xbox One, even though the team wanted it to come to Xbox One, was just like, numbers-wise, it never made sense. So they were like, well, there's no really an exclusive deal, so not going to happen. So I think it's less of a, hey, this is exclusive console war thing, but this is more of just kind of going back to what Greg says, of stomping your foot down, saying, hey, here's my dick, look how big it is, cough cough, 16 inches.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the Series X is going to do better than the Xbox One, because they didn't have that. Maybe they didn't have that god awful press conference.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
If you're going to get into that side of things, I don't think so at all, because at least when the Xbox One came out, they had games.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. We don't have Halo 6 or Halo Infinite.
You have nothing on the Xbox that's driving you, and then to go with that, you can play anything that's Microsoft exclusive on your PC or your Android cell phone. Like, why even bother if you're just going to play exclusives?
I'm never going to understand their console strategy, but just let them do what they want.
Sorry. I'm kind of crossing like my podcast streams, because I did a next gen podcast on the Midnight Channels last weekend. One of the big things we talked about there that I brought up was, it's so funny that I think people still need to kind of wrap their heads around this, that we're in such a different console race right now. Where look at the PS4 and Xbox One. Those were competing hardware with each other. Where right now we have all three of the big systems. They are all doing their own thing. Nintendo is their own hybrid system that no one's really touching with because they don't really have to, and they're in their own space succeeding. PlayStation is doing their own thing that they've been doing all PS4 generation. They started end of PS3 of exclusives, and we're already in first place, so third parties are going to come to us no matter what. They're kind of going back to their indie roots, but we still have to see how long they stick with that and make it not just be a launch thing. But Xbox, I think, is actually being really smart in the sense of, like, they're not trying to be the exclusive guys anymore. Yes, they bought a whole bunch of first-party studios, but those games, like we talked about, are still coming to PC, and even some of them are still coming to PlayStation platforms, like Wasteland 3 and even Psychonauts 2. So, like, look at them, like, they're not trying to play the exclusives games to win people over. They're the services game. They are now more Microsoft than Xbox than they've ever been.
It's not really PS5 versus Xbox Series X. It's more PS5 versus Xbox Game Pass.
Xbox ecosystem, yeah.
Yeah, because, like, for me, like, I don't know how you guys feel, but, like, if someone came up to me and said, Spencer, what are you more excited for, PS5 or Xbox Series X? I'd be like, oh, PS5, but then they'd say, oh, what should I play? And obviously it's going to depend on the person out there, but if there's someone who doesn't really care for a lot of exclusives or just wants a good deal, I'd be like, hey, dude, if you're tight on cash this year, skip the PS5, just pick up a Series X or S and just enjoy Game Pass for it until you can save up enough. Because by the time we get to the end of the show, we're going to talk about, like, Game Pass a lot more with the PlayStation Plus collection, but I think PlayStation still has a long way to go in terms of combating that. Because even showing a whole bunch of PlayStation exclusives for free to Plus members, for someone like me, I thought that was, like, a total laughingstock compared to even a fraction of Game Pass. Speaking of passing, we got to talk about this next one, because this one got my spidey senses tingling. Spider-Man motherfucking Miles Morales. How did we guys feel about this game?
It's a game I didn't need to see anything about because I was already excited for, but I was enjoying what we did see.
All right. Well, I was going to say Caligula. This is my highlight.
Whoa, this is your Ligula, huh?
So, there's a few reasons for that. One is there's nothing here especially struck me aside from this, and the other thing is I've never been super into superheroes, except for the fact that Spider-Verse is my favorite movie ever made.
I feel like that kind of bumps this up a lot, then. You're making it sound more low-key. This is like the closest to Enter the Spider-Verse, the game we've ever gotten.
Yeah, that's kind of just, I don't know. I'm happy that Miles Morales got his own game, because I really liked Spider-Verse a lot. And this looks incredible to me, and I'm very excited. I still haven't actually played Spider-Man PS4, because I'm poor, but I want to, and I want to play this. This is by far my most hyped PS5 game overall.
I have to say, so did you guys see all the news? That I feel like Spider-Man, even though they had a good gameplay showcase, on top of the fact of, like, everything going on, I feel like there was more info after the fact about this game than they actually showed, because they announced Spider-Man Remastered coming to PS5. We learned the price. Like, Miles Morales is $50 on its own, which honestly I'm sure that this will be worth the price. But that $70 package of, if you want it on PS5, you're getting an exclusive version of Spider-Man Remastered with 3 new skins, a whole bunch of new, like, graphic filters and stuff. And even though I played through that game a little over 2 years ago now, I'm like, dude, like, I'm probably going to replay it because I never played any of the DLC for Spider-Man, and I wonder how many people are out there are like you. Like, I'm thinking of other people I know who never played Spider-Man on PS4, of like how great of a deal that is for $70.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, that sounds
awesome.
But no, like, so Spider-Man wise, at least with the demo, I thought it was really funny. I watched everything on my phone at work at the time, but when I got off work before the show started and I was getting ready, I was watching everything on my TV. And when I was showing it with my fiance, what I thought was so funny is, as soon as the trailer was done with the bridge demo, I asked her, I was like, oh, what did you think of this? Because she's a really big Marvel fan. And her immediate first reaction was like, that looks so much better than that crappy Avengers game. And I was like, I knew there was a reason I proposed to this girl.
Yeah.
No, but it does just look like a much cleaner, both like visually and just animation-wise, version of the original game, which I'm totally down with. It's just more good. Also with electric power, so that gets the infamous that scratches the infinite
Yeah.
death itch. Whatever. It's good.
Matt and
Happy.
Victor were like, it's the infamous game we wanted.
This is the real Infamous 4.
Michelle, do you want to know what got me like legitimately excited hearing you talk about why you're excited for this game? Just think about this. How all the suits and well, you didn't actually play, but Spider-Man PS4 has some of the best DLC suits. Like not DLC, they were all free. Has some of the best suits like in like Spider-Man game history. I just cannot wait to see the Into the Spider-Verse Miles skin with the hoodie Spider-Verse.
No, yeah, I said that on our reaction stream. I'm like, I better be able to get the freaking hoodie.
That
skin
will look
thing.
so clean.
Just that with the spray painted suit. Yeah, No, if I get this game, then yeah, that will be the suit I wear as soon as I get it. There's no way it's not in there.
Is anyone here thinking... Well, I guess a better way to phrase this. Do we think this is going to sell more $50 copies of it standalone, or do we think this is going to sell more $70 copies with it being bundled in? Because important thing to note is that Let's Happy Together points out is that this is actually, we finally got this confirmed after like months of it being a rumor, that this is also coming to PS4. And even though as someone like me who could just play this on PS4, I feel like after watching that demo and actually seeing how much RTX makes that game look better on like running in 4K, I was like, I don't want to go back to my PS4. I want to see this as nice as it can be.
Yeah.
I think it'll sell more $50 copies than anything else.
Yeah.
I'll say this,
Yeah.
I appreciate
Yeah,
Sony
I think so,
doing
too.
2 physical versions of both. Because I could see that being really, really easy to just do the physical copy or do the more expensive copy and just do one or the other and not do both.
I think so many people that were going to play this game have already played through Spider-Man. They won't bother with it, and that will be why it sells $50. Whether it's 4 or the 5, that's why.
Yeah.
Nyarly, what's your any level of admiration for Spider-Man, if you have any? I know we don't ever really talk Marvel much ever.
Okay, well, I've seen all the Raimi movies. I've seen the Raimi trilogy when I was a kid. I played Spider-Man 2 and 3 on the Xbox 360.
Woo!
And that's actually about it.
I'm going to tell you right now, this is better than Spider-Man 2, and you can play as the Raimi trilogy costume.
Okay.
That is true.
Yeah.
And there is a pizza time joke.
Nice.
Okay.
Also, if you close your eyes while swinging through the webs, you can just pretend it's the main protagonist from Persona 3.
Can you kill Mysterio in one punch?
I think actually, because I'm trying to think by the time he is in the game, I'm trying to think by the time you meet up with him, I think it is like just you punch him and he's out.
Oh, okay.
It's been a hot minute. Like I remember a lot of the key little things about the story, but I definitely don't remember everything super particularly well. Anything else we want to say about Spider-Man, or should we move on?
I popped off.
Miles
I'm really
Morales.
excited for this game. I'll probably get on PS4 because I'm poor and probably won't be getting a PS5 for quite a while. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure the PS4 version is still gonna look good, just not as good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just super looking forward to this, and it looks like everything I basically wanted from it. So.
Oh, one last little thing I do want to bring up though, just because we are talking about it. Super big shoutouts to like them not reusing like what looks like any animations for Miles fighting with Peter.
Yeah.
Like they feel so different. That would have been so easy to just kind of copy over his punches, but like watching Peter fight in Spider-Man looks very kind of clean, and when you're doing it right, it almost looks like a ballet. Whereas watching Miles fight in that little segment on the bridge, you feel how sloppy he is. Like you can tell he's still learning. Like nothing seems good. I liked how the gameplay wanted to kind of show you still getting hit a couple of times. Like they super nailed that like Miles vibe going on with it, and also thank God like the soundtrack seems so much like it is. It's like it's funny because like
There's
they're
a
both
lot of personality.
they're both by Sony, but that soundtrack definitely you can tell they're like, okay, we're just going to be taking like the sounds from like Spider-Verse and trying to put this into the game.
That was the thing I was going to also bring up. I was really happy the soundtrack had that very Miles Morales feel and was super distinct to him.
I just appreciate I remember a lot of people were both like critical of this and praising this when the original Spider-Man came out. Like it's just called Spider-Man, and it's like it is. It's just called Spider-Man, but it is a definitive Spider-Man game. Like, it is encompassing basically everything that makes the character what they are.
It's Marvel
very much
Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
Marvel Spider-Man, Adam.
Sony
And this is
presents
very
Marvel
much
Spider-Man on
the-
PlayStation 4.
Yeah, this very much seems like it's trying to be the Miles game, and I can vibe with that.
I also do want to. I want to point out how on the reaction stream, Adam and my boyfriend both went, "This is the power of the Puerto Ricans."
Oh, like honestly, like as a whole bunch of white guys talking about a black character in a video game, I cannot like stress it enough. Like Miles Morales like does so much for like the black like superhero like fandom in the sense of like it's sad that like before we had a lot more representations. Like when I was growing up as a kid, if you asked me about black superheroes, it was like Blade and Static Shock. That was it.
Shock.
Real quick, so correct me if I'm wrong. Is this another one of those statements that didn't age well from PlayStation? Because didn't they say like a month or two ago that they were solely focused on PS5, not current gen?
Oh, 100%. And I wonder. It's been very. I mean, let's actually get into the PS4, PS5 crossover at the end, just because it dips into a couple of things I want to talk about. Because all of us here do have a PS4, so I'll be curious to kind of see how that leads into us, whether it be making ourselves more or less next gen hyped. But talking about what will probably make people less next gen hyped, I cannot believe this is its real name. It's not Hogwarts Legacy. It's Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy.
Wait, I thought it was just Hogwarts Legacy.
No. If you zoom in, there is a Harry Potter above it.
Oh, so they did the same thing for Shadow Mordor?
Yes.
Kind of stuff?
Which, by the way, this takes place, like, I think 2,000 years before Harry Potter was born.
No, 100 years.
No. I thought it was the 1800s.
Late 1800s, and Harry Potter was born in the 80s, 1980s.
Sorry, I said thousands. I meant, like, 100. My bad.
I would like to point out, by the way, that the official trailer on YouTube does not say Harry Potter. I believe you that that's what the game's called, but it's really
I'm just looking at like
trailer.
the little logo here for it. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be one of those things where everyone just calls it Hogwarts Legacy, but it kind of goes back to the whole Fantastic Beasts thing I never got of like we get it, guys. Like they didn't like no one called the Hobbit movies the Lord of the Rings the Hobbit.
So,
we just knew it was the Hobbit.
I am looking at the imagery that they use for it. It actually says Portkey Games Hogwarts Legacy. It does not say Harry Potter.
That's what it says in the trailer.
Stop freaking putting your company name in the game logo. It's stupid.
So that's actually really weird. Portkey Games isn't the developer. Portkey Games is the J.K. Rowling studio. Like, okay, so J.K. Rowling owns, like, the Wizarding World brand, which is for Harry Potter, and their gaming division is called Portkey Games. So far, they've only helped out on the Niantic Harry Potter game, so this is their first console game. But, like, they're pretty much just, like, lore keepers. They're not helping make the game, really. Like, the main development on this is all Avalanche. And because there are two Avalanches, I have to remind people, this is not Avalanche, the Just Cause developer. This is Avalanche, the Disney Infinity and Cars 3 video game people.
I'm sure there's some sort of legal reason as to why they had to put that in there, because the whole J.K. Rowling owning it and whatever, craziness that's involved in that.
Well, we do have confirmation that this game will be transphobic, so we got that going for it.
I will say this. I know people. I actually know a couple of people who are working on this game, just from like past like Disney Infinity devs, like now working on this. That team has been busting their fucking ass on this game. Like they really fucking want to make a cool open world, make your own character, like kind of like the way I've always been pitched by this before. And there's like tons of stuff because this game leaked to high hell like 2 years ago, I think. This is basically the way it's always been pitched to me is think the PS2 era Harry Potter games for the movies where you would actually explore Hogwarts mixed with Fable. Like, so big fantasy RPG, create your own character, but in this world without having any of the ties to the stories that J.K. Rowling made. Yeah. Like, so I'm kind of sold on it. I thought the trailer was fine, but it was like one of those things of like, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. But I thought it was just CG enough. Like this would have been one of those ones I really wish instead of giving like a 2-minute CG trailer, like just give a couple more minutes of gameplay. Like show people actually playing it like together. Because like I don't know if watching that trailer you would understand that outside of creating your own character, like what the game actually plays like.
Yeah, that's actually what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
It was pretty sad to see this actually leaked 2 years ago, and we never got confirmation. But yeah, watching it was very confusing as to whether this was like an MMORPG kind of style, especially given Portkey's current involvement with the Niantic game, or if this was strictly a single player. So we actually had to wait till information came out afterwards to verify that.
And also what kind of game? Like, is it going to be open world? Is it gonna be linear
open world. But I thought what was cool about this, because I didn't actually know this, it's not just Hogwarts. I thought that was actually really cool of them to be like, hey, this is an open world game, and it's not just the school. Because, like, we've seen Hogwarts in a million games. So, like, for them to be like, hey, we're all, like, this isn't just Hogwarts, it is the whole legacy of, like, that world, which, haha, that's the whole name for it. But I think...
I get it.
I think this will do good. It just depends on when it kind of comes out in terms of, like, the sort of state with it. I had this conversation with people recently, like, is anyone here, like, super big Harry Potter fans? Like, I was really big into it during the era of the books and the movies, but now it's died down a lot for me in terms of...
Not anymore, but I had a lot more investment before.
Me and my household were big Harry Potter fans, so when this first popped, as soon as I was done with what I was doing, I came out and showed the rest of my family, and everybody was like, okay, I think I want to play this.
Yeah, and I think it's going to surprise a lot of people, because like it's got a really solid pedigree behind it. And like, obviously the devs can't really come out and say this, but there have even been interviews like of them talking like through different emails of just be like, hey, J.K. Rowling, outside of the fact that this is Harry Potter based, has nothing to do with this game. This is not wrapped in the Fantastic Beasts world. This is not wrapped around any of her mythology. Like, none of the cast of characters are really going to be into it at all, outside of, like, obviously, like, historical house figures and stuff. So, like...
No, I am really intrigued with the fact that it is, it's that world which has a lot of potential outside of what J.K.'s done with it. But set way earlier, so there's a lot more...
Oh my god, dude, I just realized the best way to sell this game. It's Knights of the Old Republic wizarding.
Perfect.
Yeah, my biggest concern, though, is with them putting the Portkey games in there is that they'll have some sort of Niantic game tie-in to it.
I bet you that's just a weird, dumb branding thing, because, like, it's like...
Yeah.
At least
I could see them doing something like they did with Animal Crossing, where it was you can earn stuff in the mobile game, and then it'll transfer. You'll get some sort of special items in the actual.
I'm gonna get a
itself.
carpet for my dorm room.
Exactly.
I'll only say this. This is definitely one that I think will do a lot better once people just start seeing a lot more raw gameplay for it. But like right now, I'll say this because I have, oddly enough, been playing a Harry Potter video game. I am more excited for this than I think I would be otherwise. I'm at least glad that the reception I've seen online for the most part hasn't just been fuck this because it's Harry Potter. Like, if you have a problem with J.K. Rowling, go for it. I'm obviously not going to disrupt that. But
but she doesn't control the whole thing.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the one thing I was worried people were going to, because especially, like, literally, J.K. Rowling was trending, like, yesterday. So, like, I was kind of worried when I saw this that it was just going to be, like, throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like, this world and character exist without her.
You can still love the story and hate the author.
Yeah.
Yeah, Star Wars fans have been doing that for years.
We all hate George Lucas.
It's like poetry, it rhymes.
Separate art.
Also, I love, Greg, that you immediately go to George Lucas, where for me, I'm just immediately thinking, yeah, Disney fucked Star Wars.
Look, I grew up watching, when I was younger, the original, or the prequels. Those were trash. Those took everything away from George Lucas' original trilogy, and he lost all respect for me at that point.
Never forget, everyone, while people give Disney a hard time for having no plan with the new trilogy...
Jar Jar Binks.
Well, no, I was going to say, if you want to look at a planned-out Star Wars trilogy, that is the prequels. That is the most planned-out those movies have ever been.
I don't know. I just feel like everything after Episode 5 just kind of got throttled around by whoever had creative control.
Probably.
Speaking
I'll
of
just
throttling,
sit over here and be.
Speaking
I was gonna say, I'll just sit over here and be the world's only prequel fan. It's fine.
Hey, there are some great memes from those movies. Do not worry, you are not alone.
We all like some sort of trash or another.
I really like Episode 3.
You know what? Hey, seriously, Michelle,
some of the best memes.
If it wasn't for the prequels, we would never have the Clone Wars, and the Clone Wars, unironically, are awesome.
I agree with that.
Fates. That song in of itself is worth it.
So, speaking of things that are definitely going to be worth it, our next game is one I am not surprised to see, but I think fell kind of flat in terms of like I've also left this kind of like Harry Potter, not more hyped or less hyped, which was Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. I'll talk about this as much or as little as you guys want to. I'm pretty much like the floor's open.
Hey, I'll talk with you about it because I'm a COD kid.
Oh yeah, that is true. We got a couple of Blops boys here. So Nyarly, we're both excited for this. As the I have to at least just ask, when they announced the alpha was happening this weekend, is that when you decided in your head it's time to drive back and get my PS4?
Yeah, like I actually might drive home once I'm done with this podcast.
That's dedication. That is some dedication to picking up a Persona Q2 case. So
I don't know about anybody else, but when I was watching this trailer, I definitely thought this was like Call of Duty Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, well, they ripped off the scene from the end of Toy Story 2 with the.
I love that you think that whereas like Greg goes Fast 6, you go Toy Story 2.
What's the difference?
This was 100% Fast 6. That runway was like 35 miles long in Call of Duty.
I have to say this, 481, I hope you're not joking in the chat. He says, I'm excited for the story. I will say this, I am so hyped for this story. I legitimately brought my PS3 out just to replay Black Ops 1 finally, and I even bought Black Ops Declassified just so I can be caught up.
I can't wait.
Get ready to be frustrated in Black Ops Declassified.
I'll say this, I popped it in, those lobbies are full, and the game actually plays more fun than like the multiplayer lobbies on PS3.
I can't wait to ones at like 5 frames per second.
Very not true. Very not true.
I can't wait to the day after this game launches when Robert Redford sues for his likeness.
Oh my god, dude, yeah, he looks the new guy looks just like Robert Redford from the 70s. It's really weird.
Like, I thought that was him and his voice the entire time, and then I heard him, and I was like, no.
I just want to note, we're getting virtual Ronald Reagan. That's already got me intrigued. That's all I'm gonna say.
We need, dude. I'm gonna be salty if we don't have a zombie mode with Ronald Reagan as a playable character.
Now I need to ask you the $1 million question, guys. What are they gonna call Nuketown? Because every version has a different take on the name. Nuketown 1, Nuketown 2. If you're Black Ops Declassified, I think it's just Nuke House, because the maps were so small. Like, what do you call a Cold War Nuketown?
Nuke Wall.
Nuke Town 1981.
Oh, God, they probably will just do Nuketown. I'll say this. If they at least have one level that just plays, like, 80s synthwave, I'll be happy.
Nuketown Hiroshima?
Oh, my God. Why would it be in the 80s of Hiroshima, then?
What if they actually just make it Nuketown Cuba?
Yeah.
Wait, what was the site where they were testing out all those nuclear bombs in?
Are you talking about like the? Yeah.
Maybe it'll be the same thing except on one of those islands.
The Indiana Jones 4 refrigerator scene.
I'm gonna say this because Call of Duty has had some stupid fucking crossovers. If they want to make the most insane like zombies map idea for a crossover, like one that would finally top Call of the Dead, which might I remind you had like a zombie George Romero and like Machete and like all these like and Buffy the Vampire Slayer for God's sakes. Like if you ever want to like top that one, I thought like this would be so cool for some dumb reason. Make a zombies mode that takes place in the 80s and it's Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain Chapter 3. You play as Big Boss and a couple of, like, Big Boss, Ocelot, Kaz, and, like, maybe, like, Liquid Snake or whatever, his little baby. And you guys just, like, have to survive against zombies. Why? I don't know, but, like, that series has done so many other dumb bullshit things where I'm like, hey, Metal Gear takes place in the 80s. I've seen crazier things.
I will say, I did have a random idea that hit me while we were doing the live stream of... Because I remember seeing, like, a flash of a character who did remind me of John Lennon. So all of a sudden it's what if they had a campaign where you just play as each of the Beatles and it's just, I don't even know, just being chased by rabid zombie fans.
See, I had a thought where like, as you're playing through the zombie mode, you get so many kills you call in a nuke, but then an alarm goes off and you have to hide underneath a desk, like a school desk.
the Indiana Jones nuke.
Yes.
Just duck and cover boys, it's fine.
So yeah, Black Ops Cold War had a trailer. I will say, I think them announcing a free-for-all alpha is going to be huge. I think the last time I remember an alpha like this, holy shite.
I know
Was
Modern
it
Warfare had
Destiny?
an alpha, but it was like that 2v2
Yeah,
mode.
No, like
I was
no,
thinking
but
Destiny
I'm
2,
specifically remembering. Remember when Destiny had that E3 showing where they said, "Hey,
Yes.
everybody, if you're on PlayStation this weekend, check out the Destiny alpha. Like, we're this confident in the game. Like, because yes, games have had alphas, but I mean like a shadow drop alpha of like, hey, tomorrow you're playing the game and like get in. It's all PlayStation time.
Yeah, I think that was the last one.
That was 6 years ago.
That game's
Greg,
still around.
I worked for you when that alpha happened.
I still worked at GameStop when that happened.
I have stains of Dr. Pepper in my car from that game launching.
You're bad.
So yeah, Call of Duty. I'm excited. I'm gonna play an absolute ass ton of that with you, Nyarly. I'm hoping for at least we can make one kill montage video each for our channel, unironically uploaded.
Which Persona opening should I use? Because I already did one from the Persona 3 opening.
Do Trinity Souls because it's 80s themed.
Okay.
Next up, I am stupid.
Well, before that.
Oh yeah, what's up?
Well, I was just gonna say, with COD, what the fuck was low light called? 'Cause that's basically this for me.
Whoa, this is your Mine Zero.
Yeah, not because it looks terrible. It's because I have zero opinion on Call of Duty.
That's
I grew
fine.
up with a Wii,
That's fine.
so
No, Call of Duty was on the Wii.
Call of Duty Black Ops
Was
on
it?
Wii was pretty good. Just saying, had online. I
You
remember
could
Black
point out the
Ops.
screen and shoot things.
I remember Black Ops on Wii was especially weird because it had the little
Yeah.
Wi-Fi signal, but they decided to be edgy and make it black and not the blue
Yeah.
Nintendo one.
Mm.
no,
I
I
also
have no.
heard
opinion on
that
this,
it would
so.
like break people's Wiis.
I'm sure.
I
I'm
believe
sure
it.
if you looked at a Wii long enough online, then it would break it. All I remember is I used my Wii browser to watch episodes of Doctor Who illegally on YouTube back when that was a thing,
As you
and
do.
failing multiple times to log on to Pornhub. It would work on my PSP, could never work on my Wii.
God, when
Nintendo
you're
isn't
using
gonna
a
let that happen.
when you're using a Wii to look at porn, that's so fucked up and awesome.
And the
That's true.
and the best part
That-
when
that's
you're
kinda
like
different.
when you're like using your neighbor's Wi-Fi because you don't have Wi-Fi at this point in your life. That's when you know you've hit new levels of low.
Yeah, I've
It's
looked
the
up porn on my
darkest
Vita. Okay, I'm
Do you-
really cool.
Well, the Vita's fine, but like, did you ever get confused on the Wii with like the Wiimote and yourself? As, like, which one do you shake?
Oh, I do. And also think about this, like. Almost any other browser,
Oh,
you can do the scramble close out. There's no way to go from holding your junk in one hand to the Wiimote in the other to like, oh god, I gotta click it off. Hold on,
button.
Mom, don't look. It's my.
Home
It's,
button. You gotta
playing
place the
Mario.
sensor bar just right.
Yeah.
Look, if you were using the Wii as a means to masturbate as a young teen, that was the end for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It was PSP or nothing. We all know that was the masturbation machine.
100%.
I believe it. I don't know. This is my low light because saying Fortnite was my low light feels like cheating.
I'm glad you at least know that that's
Think
not an
about-
acceptable answer. So thank you. So next up, and this one was very much close to being my Caligula, Resident Evil Village, otherwise known as
Well,
V.
that's-
Oh, what?
It's my Caligula.
Whoa! Okay, I want to hear from you, Mr.
it
Mr.
would've
Caligula
been-
boy.
It would have been my Persona 2 if they showed gameplay.
That was gameplay, you dung dung.
Okay, they
That's
didn't. Okay,
the
well, they showed
thing.
gameplay. They didn't show that much of it.
Didn't
The
show
whole
HUD.
trailer was in gameplay. What do you
Gameplay.
mean?
It's all gameplay. There's like the one like the like puppet.
Yeah,
cutscene that isn't,
the
but
fairy
everything else-
tale was the only
in-game.
bit that wasn't in game.
No, yeah, that's the thing. Cause there's only one thing that I'm still skeptical about with this game, which I don't know why they keep doing this, which is a lot of the time when they show the gameplay for this game, especially the first time, the frame rate is garbage.
Oh, it's because
But they-
like that's legit what it's like right now. Yeah, like it's not super smooth looking, but I
Well,
appreciate
that's
them
the
being
thing, 'cause
honest.
Because they showed gameplay that looks smoother, so I'm like, okay, we're in the clear. It's just
Like the shot when like the guy comes out attacking you and like
Yeah.
like how choppy the screen looked. Yeah, that's a little rough. But no, dude, Nyarly, that
Yeah.
both trailers for RE8 have been all gameplay, no CG.
Mhm.
yeah, it's just
Well,
how the game works.
I don't know.
And they
I
all-
was just. I was just kind of. I guess I was just kind of hoping to see a little more action in it.
Dude,
Mm.
that's the point. You gotta build the suspense. It's a horror.
Yeah, I know. Well, I know it's a horror game, but like Resident Evil 7, that was still a really scary horror game. But that game also had action in it.
But they got Tim Burton involved in this one with importing some Coraline stuff in it.
Yeah, they had the corpse bride scenes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that. I don't know. Like,
no,
I'm
but,
sure Resident Evil 8 is going to be a great game. I don't know.
I am so glad that is next gen only. Like, a part of me wants it to be on PS4, but like knowing that they're like no compromise like makes me feel so much more confident.
Yeah.
I'm not even a Resident Evil fan, and this wasn't even in my mind, Zero.
What? Well, I mean, like, okay. Well, either way, I want to go Ozzy. So just tell me, like, what sold you on this? Like, outside of just being like a new Resident Evil.
Well, because for me, like, obviously people have like RE2 and 3 remake, which, you know, it'll scratch that itch for some people. Those are fantastic games, depending on who you ask. For me, I'm like one of two people who, like, my favorite Resident Evil is 7. Like, I love the atmosphere for that game. Yeah, how they, you know, build up the suspense, and especially since I played in VR, so that game's terrifying, but so addictive to work through. It's horrific, but I'm so addicted to that game. And I love how this is furthering that element. It's literally furthering the story because you're still playing Ethan. Who
I love Ethan. I love Ethan so much.
But I love him. He's nothing too special, but I love him.
I'll say this. Ethan is the best way of how you do a white toast protagonist. Because he still interjects enough, but he's not like a Nathan Drake where he's giving quips every 20 seconds. But you don't like forget he's there.
Terrified. He's driven enough to save his wife, but scared enough to book it once she's a zombie.
And it's also a game where you actually feel like you're trying to survive. You're not like some stacked soldier going in to murder zombies.
No, at the start of that game, you get your hand cut off in front of your face.
Yeah, and then you can also get your leg cut off.
No, it's such a friggin' good game.
Yeah.
But yeah, without gushing about 7, with 8, I like how it's carrying on that legacy, but I love how it's bringing this quite literally like Grimm's fairy tales like esque nature to it. Because one of my favorite things about 7 was how they handled the story and how it had this sort of like almost like storybook mythos to it with the big twist of that game. And this one seems to be going fully in. It's got like werewolves, like witches and whatnot. Just pure Victorian era darkness, and I love that.
I'm amazed when you were giving me your whole spiel. I thought you were leading up to talking about how much you love 4, because, like, dude, like, yes, this is super a sequel to 7, but man, they are nailing the vibes of what people love in 4, like that creepy village and everything. Like, even the little tease of the merchant at the end. I'm like, they are hitting all the right notes.
Mm-hmm. I can absolutely vibe with this. The actual trailer didn't show anything that blew me away, but it was just that reminder of, oh yeah, this is going to make me squeal when it comes out.
Yeah. I mean, like, it was a good trailer. I just kind of hoping for a little more.
Are you...
I can understand.
Would you have been more or less sold if they copied the RE7 treatment and they dropped a demo today?
I'm pretty sure I would have been more sold. Of course, if this game's not coming to PS4, they can't do that.
I was going to say, would you be more disappointed than not?
Can I just say, I'm amazed no company has tried the let's stream a next-gen demo. With all of these companies being able to do stuff, like, I'm amazed Xbox especially, and, like, less so PlayStation, but, like, no one was like, okay, if you want to try Halo Infinite for like 5 minutes, stream it on xCloud this weekend or whatever. Or like Resident Evil being like, hey, do you want to try streaming like a Resident Evil 8 demo? Like something like a slower paced horror game, like you wouldn't notice as much with like delayed controls.
Yeah.
After the hack with the Last of Us 2 stuff, I doubt anybody wants to even get involved in that at all.
Yeah.
Seeing this though does just to remind me the fact that I am dreading that I did promise one day I will play Resident Evil 7 in VR with him, and I am a coward with horror games.
Get a diaper.
Yeah.
So, by the way, Ozzy, you need to make sure before Michelle plays that Michelle goes through the chair demo.
Yeah.
There's an experience where you don't even play RE7. You just sit in a chair in the kitchen.
Sit in a chair and you let it happen.
Oh, it's so great. It's so great.
Can it be like the Persona 5 teaser with the 5 chairs? Because I'm in Big Red Room. Winter 2014.
Except all the lights turn off and the chairs don't get to disappear.
No, yeah, you're getting a big blue kitchen instead, if that's nice.
You know what's funny? I bet Hold on, because, Michelle, you don't have any PSVR, right?
Nope.
So you've not experienced the glory and the awesomeness that is Toko in VR with Danganronpa's VR trial.
Yeah, that's a game I need to play.
That is really fun, even though it lasts only like 15 minutes.
Yeah, I would love for that. They won't, but I would love full VR remake, all 4 games. I will play Ultra Despair Girls in VR, and I will be happy.
Do you want to feel old? Do you remember when they announced V3 and we all were worried the V was for VR?
Well, I wasn't a Danganronpa fan yet, but that
that was a legitimate thing. I remember when Danganronpa V3 got announced, the fandom was like, "Oh no!"
Let's not talk about feeling old, Spencer.
That's true.
No, it stood for bad twist. It's fine.
Oh my god. Okay, well, talking about twisty things, our next game, I'm very curious what you guys think, is Deathloop. This is by Arcane, the guys who made Dishonor and the latest Prey game. I will say this. Awesome trailer. Like, this has easily been the best showcase of what this game is for such a trippy concept.
Yeah.
But what did you guys think? Like, Greg, what did you think of Deathloop?
I'm gonna say it right now. I'm not a Bethesda fan. I don't play any of their games. I can't stand them. And this just kind of went right with that. I don't care. It looks interesting. I can appreciate it for what it is, but I have zero interest whatsoever.
Nyarly, what about you? Because you're more of a Bethesda fan, I'd say, out of everybody here. I don't know if you have that much affection for Arcane in particular, but what did you think of Deathloop?
I mean, yeah, like, now that I've seen gameplay of it, to me, it just kind of looks like another Bethesda first-person shooter that's not Doom, so...
Will this
really
live longer than Brink?
Oof.
Well, does this game have multiplayer?
The whole focus is multiplayer, actually. It's a single player. It's a single player. Also, it's a PvP game at the same time. So it's a PvPvE game. So like you are trying to kill 8 people as the guy, while also a player-controlled female character is trying to stop you from completing your goal in time.
Okay, but does that? So is this one of those games that's multiplayer only?
No, you can play it single player. They have said.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess it really just. I mean, the thing about a lot of, multiplayer focused games is that their communities don't really last a long time unless it's like Call of Duty or Battlefield or Halo or something like that.
So I'm guessing I'm the only one here who's played any of Arcane's games.
No.
But I think it's gonna, like, quality wise, I think it's gonna turn out better than Brink, but I think it's just gonna be one of those things that just comes out and then everyone forgets about it.
I would love to know what do you think this was a PlayStation thing to make this an exclusive, or do you think Bethesda tried selling this to PlayStation to get more money?
I think I think it was originally planned to be multi-plat, but then
Oh no, it was. Remember, it was announced 2 years ago as a multi-plat. We only found out during the first game showcase that it was an exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're hurting for that Elder Scrolls 6 money, so they have to
yeah. They probably sold it.
For me, I'm really excited for this, honestly, because, like, Dishonored is a game that I kind of forget about, but anytime I remember it, I'm like, oh yeah, I adore that game. And this looks like Dishonored, but, like, with a Hotline Miami pace. And because Dishonored action-based is really fun. It's just if you play it action-based and not stealth-based, the game is only 10 minutes long. So
Dishonored doesn't want you to play the action route, but that's the most fun way to play Dishonored.
I'm really happy about this. I love just, I don't know, this is my kind of thing. I'm really excited for this.
Well, I'm glad somebody's giving it a chance. And I'll just say this, if you guys ever want, like, a really, really good bargain price BioShock game for this generation, the Prey reboot they did a couple of years back is super great.
Yeah, I want to play that.
And has a really cool VR mode that they added. Next up is one that I wonder how long we're going to talk about, but as you can tell by looking at the background image for this week's podcast, I'm very excited about. One of the biggest surprises of the show for me, Sony announced that they are exclusively launching, when the PS5 comes out, DMC5 Special Edition. I don't know
Yeah.
what other DMC5 stands want to go first, but please, anyone but me go first before I just rant for an hour.
Isn't
My
this digital
boyfriend-
only?
Digital only, but Capcom did announce that they're doing a physical when it comes to other platforms next year with everyone at the same time. I don't know why. I bet you they'll change that because fans are already like, just give us physical at launch. Because like, I think once they see how slim the pickings are going to be for physical spots this holiday, Capcom is just going to be sleeping on Monday if they don't make a physical.
So this wasn't my thing, but during our stream, my boyfriend was just like, "Shut up! Let me watch this."
No, yeah,
So
I
you-
have a few too many friends whose minds shattered at this announcement, including you, Spencer, who, I can hear you across the country.
Mhm.
Well, it's
So-
just it was so out of left field. Like
Yeah.
everyone had pretty much given up hope that DMC 5 was going to get the Virgil DLC because like the last chance we had really given it was earlier in January. Remember when they were teasing DMC 3 on Switch? They said we have 3 big DMC announcements, and they were all about a fucking Switch port no one was ever going to play.
Yeah.
So like after that happened, the fandom was just like, okay, well
This is a really weird way to do like a goatee.
I'll
Yeah.
say this though, they're doing a really good job. The trailer didn't really super say it off, but I mean the trailer was basically just like one of those fan cams for Virgil. Like that's all it needed to be. But like if you
I
look,
do want to know one quick thing. Now, because I haven't played DMC5 yet, I own it, but I do know the outline of the plot. Without saying too much for the people watching, it does kind of spoil a major plot point.
it does, but I mean like DMC 5 story, even knowing Virgil is in it is a big spoiler. But like at the same point, like if you were going to play it and your name's not Ozzy, you probably already played it. But even like I'll say this, even though knowing that game has such a fucking roller coaster ride of a campaign, like that is like one of my favorite games of last year, and like I cannot wait to go through it. But like they're adding in new modes, new story cutscenes, like and just like the crazy ass one for me that I can't believe they're doing, and I'm never a big frame rate guy. But they confirmed that on PS5 this is going to run at 120 frames. Like I'm just like holy shit. Like I loved playing turbo mode on the old PS2 versions, but like actually playing a console version of DMC with 120 frames, especially with Virgil's like combos would be like it's going to like melt my brain.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, so like there's a whole bunch of little things. I think once we know more price, it's going to be a lot more interesting because like on its own, this trailer is pretty much for if you are a diehard fan of this game, which there are thousands of people out there. Like this was a super big success of a revival, so like this is going to do well no matter what. Like if the DMC fan base is willing to rebuy a special edition of DMC 4 and DMC Reboot, a DMC 5 special edition is going to just sell like gangbusters by comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Is anyone here interested in picking this up more so after the trailer, or if you skipped on it before, are you still probably not going to be picking it up now?
I got it for free on my Xbox One. I
yeah,
still
that
don't
was
plan on
free.
picking it up.
I can't...
It was free for a different reason, but yeah.
No, but it was actually given away recently. I did forget. I think it was Game Pass like a month or so ago.
I'd have to play the rest of the Devil May Cry series first.
No,
so-
you
Yeah, I've
don't.
only-
No, you
I've
don't.
Yeah,
I've only played 1 and a bit of 2.
Fair enough.
I already own it. I just have to actually sit down and do it.
Also, for any DMC fans out there, I'm only saying they don't have to because, like, yes, if you play them all, you get a appreciation for the whole series, but like you don't like need. Like it's cool if you've watched and played everything playing through DMC5 and be like, oh, it's the guy from the anime for one cutscene, but like in the reality of things, it's just a fun game to like look and like be pretty.
I already know my first Devil May Cry game is going to be Nocturne DLC, so it's fine.
That's the earliest game in the timeline, so you've lucked out.
Nice.
Oh my god. I'll be curious to see how that does in terms of, like... I think that's, like, a solid, one to get at launch. Like, especially for people who, like... If we look at the launch lineup, and if it ends up staying this kind of thin as it's looking now, like, this launch is definitely for, like, hey, if you're looking for exclusives, it's niche as fuck, and then everything else third-party is everywhere else.
I think you're right. I think if they dropped a physical edition of this, it would sell gangbusters.
Yeah.
Next thing we're going to talk about is probably just going to be me talking about this. Is anyone else here a fan of the Oddworld games? Or has any opinions on the new Soulstorm trailer?
I didn't play all of it, but I quite like New and Tasty. I want to go back and play that game fully.
Nice. What did you play it on? Just curious.
I had it on Steam, but it was, of course, on my garbage computer, so it was really shitty graphics. So I want to play it on a more powerful system, so I can actually see how pretty that game is supposed to be.
Can I recommend not the Wii U version?
Why would I not play it on the Wii U though? That's what Oddworld was made for.
Oh my god! I remember when they made that port. By the time it was coming out, they were already publicly being mad at Nintendo for asking them to make that port. They were like, your machine runs like dog shit, our Vita version looks better than this Wii U port, and you never advertised our game.
I was honestly
I didn't
more
even know it was on the Wii U.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was on Wii U either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was more intrigued by the guy who was presenting the game than I was in the game itself.
Lorne Lanning, what a fucking stud. Like, tell me you don't look at that guy and just think, that guy goes to Burning Man and definitely picks up way too many checks.
I don't even get that. For me, it's his accent, like, because he's definitely from the Northeast, I want to hear his life story. Like, I feel
you
like he's
don't
the kind
know
of guy...
his life story?
No, I want to know like the specifics in his life story.
Dude, no,
like
that's
how
why
he
I'm
got-
okay. Everyone out there, even if you don't care about the Oddworld mythology of the games, which by the way you should, Lorne Lanning has such an awesome life. Just if you ever want, like seriously, write this down right now or put it into your YouTube. Just type in Lorne Lanning interview. He has hours on everything, not just his games. Like he has hours going over his life. There's an awesome Ars Technica interview of like literally his childhood growing up in the Northeast. Like his dad worked like in the sub. Like he's got a crazy life story. Like he did. The whole beginning of Oddworld started because he was working on 3D effects at amusement park rides. And they basically were like, hey, we make really fucking great computer graphics. Why don't we make a really fucking cool looking video game? And that's what started the original Oddworld.
Nice.
But
See,
like
that just lost a little interest for me because I listening to him, he sounds like the guy who's involved in mobsters, and he was sitting there and he was looking out for everybody, and all of a sudden they came and got him.
He does. He does. He has so many crazy stories. Like if you go and listen to like. He straight up broke an NDA just to advertise Munch's Odyssey. So, like, he straight up... They were the first ones to leak footage of PS2 debug hard kits, like, 2 years before the system was out. And their whole thing for it was like, well, we pre-rendered all the footage on our computer as a file, so technically we're just showing people computer files. So Sony tried suing them, and that's what partly led them to go and be Microsoft exclusive for a while. That whole company, and exclusively Lorne Lanning, he is, like, one of the coolest dudes. Like, he, no joke, like, as you can tell by me fucking hyping this up just enough from him not only in the game, like, he is my top 3, like, I want to interview them. It goes, like...
That's great.
It goes, like, Hideo Kojima, Lorne Lanning, and, like, there's a couple of other, like, kind of people that, like, flip and flop on, like, the number 3 spot, but, like, Lorne Lanning is, like, super hardcore. Like, I am so much of a fucking fanboy for him. He is so cool.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I
point out,
played
like,
something
when we were
Hold on,
streaming
how
it,
did you
like,
guys stop and then more people interrupted each other?
No,
Of course,
shut up.
of course, we gotta build
I'm
up.
bad at talking.
Fine, you speak, Michelle.
Fine, I was gonna say, during our stream, I pointed out something that made Adam laugh, and I doubt anyone else here will care, but I pointed out, I said,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
Adam, doesn't this guy look like the second caretaker the kids had in the series of Unfortunate Events movie? And Adam kind of died laughing and got really mad at me.
I hate that.
Guys,
No, yeah,
guys,
at first I pointed out, I'm like, this guy's voice is awesome. And then you're like, oh yeah, you know what he looks like? And I broke.
guys, somebody please tweet at Lorne Lanning that with the picture of that guy from the movie, just with no context, please. Like, I'm sure he'll find that funny.
When you Google search Lorne Lanning, he looks like a Game of Thrones character. The first image that pops up is Game of Thrones.
Yeah, if you look at him in the
100%.
90s, he fucking he's got like the crazy long hair. Like he was like such like a hippy dippy like game dev.
that's not even the picture that shows of him. It's like him in like he's got some weird scarf on.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, it just looks like he's a Lannister.
All right, well now I gotta.
I'm just gonna say this right now. If you type in Lorne Lanning, the very first picture, that like headshot, I dare you to say that guy doesn't fuck, because that guy fucks.
Oh no, that guy fucks while fucking.
Man fucks.
And that is why everyone here should pick up Oddworld Soulstorm on the PS4 and PS5. I'll say this as one last little Lorne Lanning fun fact before I move on. Lorne Lanning actually, by the way, does the voice of Abe. Most people don't know that.
Oh yeah,
I think I heard about that.
If you didn't catch that when the trailer started to play and did the voices, like you knew that right away. His accent was in there, very prevalent.
Those games are so good, and so few people actually play them. They're like almost everywhere. The only weird thing is, after New and Tasty came out, they never did the rest of them on PS4 for some weird reason.
Yeah.
But they're a very public game studio of hey, they've been working on this game for, oh my god, this is their 7th year of development now, I think, if not 6th. So, my only complaint of why this isn't an insta-sell for me as a huge Oddworld fan, we're now at the point where I've seen this game so many times that it's I wanted a release date, and because there still wasn't one, and it wasn't hey, it's coming at launch, it's just sort of I'm sure I'm gonna love this game, but it's not going to get any new fans. It looks amazing. The technical aspects of all the hundreds of characters on screen, it looks impressive. The visuals of the cutscenes, it's amazing that that's an indie budget studio of because even New and Tasty at the time, when you looked at the intro cutscenes for New and Tasty, you weren't impressed. But if you look at the CG visuals for Soulstorm, Soulstorm looks fucking next gen.
Yeah.
It's confusing to me because I remember playing, I think it was Abe's Exodus back on the PC in '98.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird because the cutscenes look very new, modern, and the gameplay itself looks kind of like Super Mario 3D World.
I get that. The gameplay is actually one of the weirder kind of turns with it, which I could super get into because they're now splitting things up into levels. It's not one straight kind of playthrough. They're implementing crafting systems, all these different crazy systems. But I'll move on, not to make this 9,000 hours, but yeah, two things to check out. Play Oddworld on anything you can. Almost all of them are amazing ports, and just listen to hours upon hours of Lorne Lanning stories, because that dude's fucking life story is amazing. And if I ever get him on my fucking YouTube channel, I'll just close it up. We fucking have peaked.
The finale.
It goes the guy who put Night Trap on Vita, Nyarly, and Lorne Lanning.
Let me be on that show just because I want to talk to another Northeasterner.
Oh, dude, yeah, you guys could have some great fucking stories. Speaking of things that probably aren't going to have some great stories, but might tell me about the bite of '86. How about that Five Nights at Freddy's security breach? By the way, that's my mine zero.
Mine zero.
Coward!
Coward!
The
floor is yours, Oziak. Have
Conception 2? What does that mean? Does that mean it's great? What does that Conception 2 mean?
No, it means it's my mind zero.
Oh,
no, listen. Look, my name is Gregory. When that thing came on, it was Gregory. I was hard no. I'm out. I'll pass on this
I'm
one.
going to edit
and then
this.
It kept talking to me, and then it started with Gregory, and I was no, I can't do this. I'm not talking to both the most evil female character and the devil itself. I can't do this.
I got called out for a fake fan.
I didn't even know what it was. I just saw the chat going FNAF. I'm is this really FNAF? And then I saw the thing. I'm oh, okay.
Oh.
Listen,
I should have gone up to go to the bathroom at this part.
I don't accept your cowardice here.
You don't have to accept it, but it's gonna be there.
I'm gonna have to edit that little clip in of Greg just saying, my name is Gregory, and when I heard that, I'm immediately hard, and just hard cut it there.
Don't hard no. That's all. No, I'm not doing this.
Oh
I don't know.
I'll say this. I'm only going to call it my Mind Zero just because it literally told us nothing about the game and didn't really show us anything. The Five Nights at Freddy's games I've actually heard are pretty good on the console versions with the VR one, and even it now works.
Legitimately? like if we have to talk about like the 5 VR games you have to get, it sits pretty like the VR game sits pretty firmly in there for me.
And like I like the original 4. Like I played them all and I enjoyed them as like fun little horror games. Like say what you will about the fandom, but like there is a reason Five Nights at Freddy's is popular.
And see, this is where I'm gonna say, I'm guessing you guys are all much younger than I am.
Yeah.
As somebody who grew up in the early '90s and was afraid of the animatronic Chuck E. Cheese and all his buddies, this to me is like the most fearful thing that I could ever.
So we now need to get
No, trust
Greg.
me, we feel it as well.
So we now need to get Gregory hard in VR playing FNAF VR.
Look, as long as you stop by Walgreens on the way by and buy a big bag of Depends, we're good.
Nyarly, tell me about the bite of '87.
Please do.
I
Good
don't
story.
have much to say about it.
But that's just a theory. His
Don't
game.
worry.
Game theory.
You'll be our Markiplier surrogate. It's fine.
Can you beat FNAF with only lights? That's Gnarly's next video.
No. The FNAF challenge would be: can you beat? What is this one? Can you beat Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach without being called Gregory? That's the next challenge.
Ooh, that might be hard.
You just have to shut down the game every time the audio files shoot up.
But I mean, I've never played any of the FNAF games.
They're not bad. I played them all on my phone, like a little 7-year-old child at Walgreens.
Okay.
Actually, fun fact, I didn't know this. They ported all of those original games to consoles, like all consoles.
Yeah.
That I can't imagine being fun on a controller. I feel like you kind of either want a mouse or a clicker to play those kind of games.
I don't get it, but people tell me they're fine, so
That'd be
That's
a really fucking just not fun platinum. I cannot imagine the trophies in those games being fun to get.
Can you play them with mouse and keyboard on the consoles?
Oh, that's a good question. I bet you can, because they all support it, even the Switch.
Ooh, yeah.
There you go.
FNAF was something I was experienced as like third party as a 12-year-old game theory fan, but I never actually got the games myself because, like I said, I'm a coward for horror games.
Me
God,
too.
How old is FNAF now?
Yeah, you ever think about that one, Adam?
I'm old now. I don't like this.
Speaking,
Relatively.
speaking of old things and things that are scary and things that used to be Atlas related, how about that motherfucking Demon Souls trailer? I don't know about you
This
guys.
is my half Caligula. This is like my runner-up.
Okay. I thought they showed this off flawlessly. Like, to me, I think that they should have just straight up made that their last thing they showed. It's obviously not, but like, just showing us gameplay finally of like, even if you've never seen Demon Souls, this game looks fucking great.
No, yeah. I love every game that friggin' just every Souls-like. Yeah, every FromSoft game I love. I adore Bluepoint, and that combination, it's just a good old Souls-like that just... Ooh, it's pretty. They went a little too hard on this.
I would like to point out I am canceling Johnny Awesome because he said it looked bad on Twitter.
What?
I can't tell if he's being sarcastic.
How could anyone actually make up that much of a bold-faced lie?
I'm not even a Souls fan, and even I was like, "Ooh, this is nice."
Same
He
here.
just put up the tweet where he's like, "Oh yeah, it doesn't look good," and I'm legitimately upset. And I'm like, "What? It looks bad. There wasn't. I don't understand what you could see in that. Like, there's opinions, but I'm like, what was it that signaled to you like this is not good?"
This is why we don't give Let's Players opinions, guys. We just need to strip them of those rights.
Yeah, this is one of those games for me that like I've never gotten into any Souls game, just because I'm trash when it comes to them and I don't have enough time to get good. But every single one of these is something that like just it's something that is in my avenue that I should like. I just don't have the time, and I want to like Demon Souls.
This is, I don't know if this is like a crazy kind of like take or whatever. Ever since this got announced, I've known this was going to be launched even before this was announced as a launch game today. But like, this is like up there with when Breath of the Wild was announced as coming to Switch. I was like, I have to buy this system for this game. And I think there are millions and millions of From fans out there who are in the same boat, because like a lot of people also don't realize this. Demon Souls is the only Souls-like that has never been ported to anything else, mainly because it was a Sony-owned property. But what's so interesting about it is there is such like a fervor and fandom behind this one, specifically because this is what started it all and has so many of those ideas that either kind of morphed, changed into other things. And what sucked about it is, in the height of Souls popularity, with like probably Dark Souls 1 to Dark Souls 2, the online for Souls always was kind of in the dead to never really super active phase. So to finally be me and be able to play this game with an online community is going to be like so much more fun, because this game had so many crazy like online mechanics that A, it never explained, and B, were hard to really get the most bang for your buck out of. So I think having this be a launch game, I don't think it's going to sell anywhere near as well as something like a Miles Morales, but I still think like this is going to be a big tentpole. Hey, why are you buying this game? Boom, look at this.
This will be the number 2 game on PlayStation 5 when it launches.
I believe it. For me, I've pretty recently gone to Bloodborne, so like I'm into this.
Actually,
like, I want to get more into Soulsborne.
Actually, I will say this. While I would agree with you that it could be the number 2 game, I actually think neither Miles Morales or this are going to be number 1 or 2. Actually, probably Miles Morales is going to be 2 because of the next announcement. Just to slightly jump the gun on that.
Does that count though?
We don't count that. That's
pay
free to
for it?
play.
You
That's
die
free to play.
right now.
That doesn't count.
No, Adam die. Adam die.
I don't know.
I thought you were I thought you were gonna say like Black Ops or like Assassin's Creed.
No.
You know,
Listen,
a reasonable opinion.
listen,
That's
you know the Fortnite audience. It's gonna be the most played game on that system for a while.
That's like saying that in the next announcement after Fortnite that everybody's going to download God of War. Like,
Chat, type die Adam right now, please. Thank you.
Well, I imagine a lot of the people that are getting PS5s aren't going to get a game on the first day, so they'll probably just download Fortnite and play that.
Well, like think about it. Like when the PS4 launched, I don't know, like Greg, like do you remember like when the PS4 launched? It felt like
Warzone.
Warzone's gonna be crazy, but like no, when the PS4 launched, everyone jumped onto the 2 big free to play ones of Warframe and
That's what I meant, yeah.
Blacklight Retribution.
Oh, I remember playing a bit of PlanetSide 2 when I first got my PS4.
No, what was that? What was the other one that came out that was like you? God, I can't remember it. But you went around this little planet orb, and
Super Mario Sunshine.
No. It was some sort of like asteroid-like game. What the fuck was it? Oh, it's gonna blow my mind now. Hold on.
Ratchet and Clank.
The Playroom VR.
I played way too much Playroom VR.
Astrobot.
I played a stupid amount of Playroom that I'm not even comfortable thinking back to.
Every trophy for every playset in Playroom VR.
You know what?
PlayStation Home.
I love PlayStation Home. I made some bad decisions in PlayStation Home.
I believe it.
You know, if they announced that PlayStation Home was coming back to the PS5, that would be the most hyped thing as well as the most uncomfortable thing to hear.
They made so much money through like outfits, but like it was never like it was its own second home, like in the way of like it had its audience, but it was never going to be a thing like PlayStation was going to brag about. Like I think we're at that stage now with Little Big Planet, hence why the new Little Big Planet game coming out at launch is just called Sackboy and not Little Big Planet.
It's not Little Big Planet. It's just a Sackboy game, which
Resogun.
still me a little.
Resogun. I'm sorry, Resogun.
But that wasn't free. Well, I guess, yeah, because it was PlayStation Plus free, but okay.
Yep.
I'll give you that pass. Yep. But yes,
Look,
Resogun, yeah, everyone played the holy fuck out of it. That game is amazing. But yeah, so going back to like to Demon Souls, before we kind of get into like the free to play wrap up with everything.
Yeah.
I'm curious though, like, do you think, and this will sort of lead into our next topic about price. I'm amazed that I'm looking at this PlayStation 3 remake. I see it's a $70 price tag just for the base copy, and legitimately in my head, I'm like, that's fine. This looks like it's worth $70. Like, the game looks like already, like, it looks next-gen enough that I'm looking at that for $70, and I'm not like, oh, what are you thinking? Of like, whereas, like, taking a step back to, like, last week, I'm looking at, as a Prince of Persia fan, I'm looking at Prince of Persia Remake and being like, is this worth $40?
Look, I don't mean to interrupt anything on the conversation, but I just looked on GameStop to see if they still had them available for order. The webpage is down.
Way to go.
Yeah.
You know what? Unfortunately, speaking of pre-orders, Greg, I got hosed. I was so caught up in getting my system, I forgot to like pre-order anything else. I need to pre-order those dang 3D audio headsets.
You can go back and do that, but the console was your main priority.
I know, that's true. That was the big dog of like, oh my god, yeah. I didn't even think because I saw other people's receipts online of like, oh, I got my games pre-order, I got my like thing. It's like, God, I literally just got that. It was like I could have pre-ordered anything else.
And if the store didn't offer it, they did you a disservice.
Well, it was one poor employee by herself that was in a store supposed to only hold 10 people due to current events and had maybe like 25 people and all the phones blaring nonstop.
Yep, thank God my phone lines died.
Do you have the PS5 in stock?
Click.
It's like, the best part of those phone calls, it's like, they're all going to be the same answer of, can I pre-order the PS4? But, like, besides yes or no, wouldn't you still have to be there in person to make that phone call worth anything?
With the limited quantities we all had, yeah.
Yeah, so, enjoy pre-ordering your PS4s, and God, I hope Mirth in the chat
Fives.
actually... Sorry, yes. Enjoy trying to pre-order a PS5. I'm going to call it now. It's going to be a fucking bloodbath this year.
Well, I think they're going to see waves. I think this was the first of 2 or 3 waves.
Yeah. Also, and this is just a me sort of thing, I'm going to say if you're someone who wants that thing at launch, try not to do online. Online orders are always the most abundant, but are always the most easy to get canceled in the wave of things. Like, in-store pre-orders are a lot harder to get hosed on.
Mm-hmm.
Also, for God's sake, just go into a GameStop. I know you haven't bought anything from a GameStop recently. For God's sake, just give them $50. They need the help.
Look, man. Let's not go there.
I'd rather go to Best Buy. I'm good.
Well, yeah, but you can't go into a Best Buy and pre-order. That's the thing. Best Buy's got to step their game up. Well, no, I mean, like, in-store, you can't go to the cashier, be like, can I pre-order a PS5? They're going to be like, can I get you a fridge?
What is that?
Imagine, like, you go up to a guy, and you show him a picture of the PS5, and he's just like, sir, that's a router.
Yeah,
No, I need the PlayStation...
A binder.
I need the PlayStation 5. Sir, that's a Linksys wireless... I have 5 right behind you.
Whatever. Can you imagine going to Walmart? Oh yeah, let me show you that blanket over here.
I go on multi-quest, like literally I dragged Nyarly with me like a couple of weeks ago to refill water. We go into a Walmart and I asked this lady a very simple question: where are your water refill stations? And the lady's looking at us like I've just asked her where the BDSM lounge is, and then she's looking at us and she goes, "We don't have that here." And then as we're leaving, she goes, "Wait, did you need to refill that with water? Oh, it's in the back by the cereal."
Oh my God.
Beautiful. I don't know. I want to go back however many years to go to a Best Buy, show them a picture of a PS3, say I want to order this, and then say that's a George Foreman grill. That's the world I want.
That's a lean, mean grilling machine. Also has a PS2 engine in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the last like big announcement for it. But I'm kind of curious what you guys thought in the sense of the next one, because for me this was like, oh sorry, actually I did skip over Fortnite. I'm probably the only one here who plays Fortnite actively, I'm guessing.
I played it for a bit on
you
the
are.
Switch. It's
My
kinda-
little brother will be excited.
Listen,
like, 1 or 3
Fortnite,
games
especially
this
right
week.
now, Fortnite is fun. Like, it is more, like, it's all Marvel themed right now. I just picked up a Sentinel head as a backpack. Like, it's a fun, free game.
No, yeah, I could see it being fun. It's just not. I don't know. It was something where like I played it with my friends for a few weeks, and I was kind of like, I've had my fill.
Also, Nyarly, I'm
So-
sorry, I talked totally over you. What were you saying about Fortnite?
I was just gonna say, like, I played a couple games and it was all right, but I don't like how enemies turn into wooden towers when I'm shooting them.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are better battle royale options, in my opinion. That's just the big one. So
Play
I don't know.
Warzone. Everybody play
As somebody
play
who doesn't
Warzone.
play this game, I spend a lot of money on it.
It is an easy game to like kind of just sink money into, even like going through phases of it. Like, I don't play it as hardcore as I used to back in like probably 2 or 3 years ago, but like it's just one of those fun games for me of you don't need online to play it on consoles. you can just hop in, it's crossplay, and it's just like, hey, I want to catch up with some of my friends, like I haven't talked to online. It's just like an equivalent of like, hey, let's go meet up on like Skype or whatever, or Discord and chat. Just in the sense of like it's social.
They introduced like a party mode recently, just for people who are just using it as a hangout.
And I can confirm it is more fun to play than the Square Enix Marvel Avengers game.
I believe it. That feels like the most video games, to be fair.
Also, it has a Tenet Easter egg that someone showed me, and I got way too excited for a fucking movie Easter egg in a video game. So yeah, that's Fortnite. It's going to be gangbusters. I think it's cool that they announced it for launch. I think this trailer definitely should not have been like the end before the end. Like I thought, for them to follow up Demon Souls with like Fortnite, the Fortnite bus horn, I was like, "Are you sure about that?"
Well,
no,
maybe
we all, me and my friends all looked at it. We kind of jokingly said Fortnite, and then we saw the battle bus, and we were like, "Oh, really? That's actually what? Oh, okay, never mind."
Time to tune out.
As soon as that color scheme popped up, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is Fortnite." But to me, it was interesting how it seemed like every reveal they used in this trailer just got shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. Like it was the Final Fantasy XVI was the longest one, and everything after that just got less.
Hilariously, Final Fantasy XVI and Demon Souls were the same length. And actually, so was Miles Morales.
Honestly, I'm surprised that Fortnite got like with them doing Fortnite as a trailer. I'm honestly surprised I didn't see Minecraft.
Microsoft. That's why.
But that's an inevitability as well.
Oh, you will, sir. You will.
I will see Minecraft. You are correct.
So this one, I'm very curious what you guys think about. We've talked about it a little bit. PlayStation announced after this the PlayStation Plus collection, their kind of answer to Game Pass. And if you noticed in the verbiage of this was very weird. It is exclusive to PlayStation 5 owners, even though it is nothing but PS4 games that you download. So, like, imagine if you didn't have these games, you had a PlayStation Plus membership, but you could not play them because you don't own a PS5. But, like, I'm going to pull up the list and read it off for it, but just in curious, like Nyarly, as someone who, like, doesn't, like, buy as many games, like, I'd say you and me are probably polar opposites of, like, I buy almost all the games, and you are very kind of selective. Did this announcement do anything for you? Like, were there any exclusives you missed that kind of caught your attention? And please hold your comments and jokes for Persona 5. We will get there.
Yay!
No, not really. I mean, most of these games are pretty cheap anyway.
They're all like the bargain bin greatest hits price. It's like, hey, it's cool that like it's cool that The Last of Us is there, but like The Last of Us is 7 years old.
Buy it for $5.
Yeah, like they've given away so many of these games.
But
I mean,
I felt
if you haven't played any of these games and you have a PlayStation Plus membership, then go for it. But it's not gonna make me go out and buy one.
But that's the thing isn't. From what I can tell, the idea of this quote-unquote collection is essentially just, hey, look at all these masterpieces that we've basically given away before. If you're going to be doing online anyways, you might as well get to sort through these games that cost like pennies.
Yeah.
There is also the fact, though, that like if you are a dedicated enough PlayStation owner to get PS Plus, I can't imagine that you don't already own at least half of these.
Right.
I don't think that was meant for this, though. I think this goes into what we said at the beginning, where this was like a big fuck you to Xbox, where it was, hey, yeah, you've got the Game Pass, but our dick is bigger. Look at all the free awesome games you get. But these games are great. Like, there's not I can't say there's really a game on here that isn't good, and it's mostly their first-party games.
Just because I have the list pulled up here, and I do want to give a little bit of a shout out to two comments. One is for it. One, I definitely agree. Games Pass. There's no argument here. Games Pass is still a better deal, and especially because this is not like it's going to be an ever-growing collection. I bet you this is going to be offered for the first like maybe 3 to 12 months of the year's system, and they're going to pull it or whatever for some licensing thing. Like, this will not be a forever deal of the PlayStation Plus collection. Like, that'd be great if they started turning it into Games Pass, but they have not advertised it like that. So our starting list of when the PS5 comes out, these are your games you will get for free to download. By the way, when I saw this, I was really worried this was a PlayStation Now thing of you can only stream them. I was like, oh no. But yeah, thankfully you can download all of these. So we have 2018's God of War, Last of Us Remastered, Uncharted 4, Thief's End, Battlefield 1, the good one, Monster Hunter World, Fallout 4, the kind of good one, Final Fantasy 15. Everyone play that. I think this one's in all bold. It says, Adam, please play The Last Guardian. God damn it, why have you not played The Last Guardian?
I'm like, here we go.
So yes, everyone please play The Last Guardian. If you like Shadow of the Colossus and have not played it, you're a fake fan. 2016's Ratchet & Clank, Infamous Second Son, Days Gone, Bloodborne, Detroit Become Human, Batman Arkham Knight, don't know why I got tripped up on that one, Mortal Kombat 10, Persona 5 Vanilla, Until Dawn, and Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
So the ones that kind of threw me off on this was why Mortal Kombat X, and it's interesting that they're using Fallout 4, which when that launched was marketed with Xbox, and I think Battlefield 1 was as well.
Same thing, correct.
Is it bad that one of the first things that came to my mind was that more people are going to play Arkham Knight? Because that's still a game that I defend diehard for.
Well, hold on.
I'm with you, sir.
There is a very serious question that needs to be answered. And by the way, I finally just for the first time played Arkham Knight last year because it was offered free on PS Plus like in June.
You bastard.
I finally played, so I now played all the Arkham games, including Arkham Origin, Blackgates, which everyone likes to forget. What is are you saying that Knight is better than Origins? Because like I thought Knight is easily the worst out of all four.
A lot of people say Knight is the worst. I don't know. I am a clear minority, and I will accept that I'm probably wrong for liking Knight a lot less than City. I like Knight way more than City.
All right, I agree with you. Knight's good, but I'm not going to give you over City.
No. I understand I'm wrong there. I just think that Knight for me, I just like how all the exploration controls and everything. It just feels the best.
I want Knight to be the best. Knight on paper, if you talk about its highlights, is like the best bat. It's like think of like the Man Bat sections, everything with like the Joker, without even getting into anything spoiler wise. All of the stuff with Mark Hamill, all of like the little ties from Arkham City, like that story has so many great hooks, but like the fucking downers are such downers. The tank section suck so much fucking ass.
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth on that one.
Also, like, what were like some really, really dumb moments with it? Red Hood, what a fucking wet fart. Like, that whole storyline with the Red Hood sucks, and I love the Red Hood.
Mm-hmm. It is like, it's not even that's the most obvious twist ever. It's like a semi-obvious twist that is handled worse than every prior Red Hood twist in fiction.
Mm-hmm. Which sucks because like they've done such a great job with those stories in the past. Like they definitely had an interesting premise, but you could definitely tell because Arkham Knight was the first one where they didn't work with Paul Dini, who did the animated series. You could definitely tell its sloppiness came from him not being in that room.
Yeah, all I'll say is we had a better presence from Robin in Arkham VR than we did here. So take that as you will.
Insert Roblox oof noise here.
But yeah, I think this collection's fine. One thing that I will give it credit for over Game Pass is at least this is, bundled in with if you're just going to be playing online, you get these for free.
Game Pass. But then, like, there are people like me who like are single player focused people. I mean, and obviously I own almost all of these, but like for like. It's very easy to be a PlayStation fan and never have to pay for online because, like, guess what? PlayStation first party are almost very rarely ever online, and it's just one of those things of like, oh my god, 481 just brought it. LA Noire Ray Trace would actually be fucking amazing. I would play the fuck out of that. That game would look gorgeous. But yeah, so like. I love the idea of this, but like, unless this was like, because I think if they wanted to actually like slap their dick out, but obviously PlayStation's in the first place, they don't have to do this. Also, I need to stop with the whipping your dick out metaphor. It's like the 5th one I've done this episode. If they were like, hey guys, if you buy the digital version or the disc version of the system, you get these collection for free. That's like a super mega voucher code. Which is like, then at that point, it's like, oh, it doesn't matter if you have them or not. Anyone who buys this system now just gets like 10 to like something, like 10 to 20 of like the best games from last generation, whether you had them or not.
I'm surprised there's the most important title is not on this list.
Which one?
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, well, there's a reason. It's like, they're either doing Horizon Remastered like they are with Spider-Man, or they just kind of like figured not really. I want to talk about Horizon later, especially because now that we know Horizon 2 is coming to PS4, that brings a lot of like actually worries to my head. But I don't know, like I guess now sort of talking about the elephant in the room related to this podcast.
Is it Michelle's favorite part of the showtime?
Well, like, okay, this sort of goes back to like why Greg, you were bringing up why Mortal Kombat 10 and not 11. Obviously, because the latest entries would be the most in-demand one, we have to remember those just came out, and I know a little less so for Mortal Kombat 11, but like Mortal Kombat 11 like was still getting stuff as of like a couple of months ago. So Persona 5 big on here is literally the equivalent of like, imagine, and I made this tweet unironically. This was not a mean, jokey tweet.
Mm-hmm.
We all here are aware of how good of a game Persona 5 is, whether you've played it, beat it, fellatioed it, like, whoever.
Me.
The whole point of, like, is just this, in a post-Royal world...
No, yeah, do you want to play the demo for Royal?
What actual value do you have putting time into this game?
No, yeah, it would be like if Persona 4 Vanilla got ported to Steam instead of Golden.
But, like... At least with Persona 4 Vanilla, no one's like, oh my god, like yes, Golden's the best version, but like there are actual improvements in Royal and additions that make going back impossible. Like like there are, it's a tiny argument, but there are people who will be like, oh, I prefer Vanilla or I prefer Golden.
And those people are wrong. It's fine.
No, because unless you are the world's most diehard original Takemi fan, there is no reason to go back to original P5.
Did I ever tell you guys I found out the reason they replaced her voice actress?
Oh, really?
No.
No.
I thought I told you guys this. Okay, so I did.
Well, actually, you did. I just don't remember why.
Oh yeah, okay. So I did some digging, and I confirmed. I was trying to think of like a not clickbaity way to talk about this, but like I don't feel like just throwing random pieces of news out there, except if it's on a dumb podcast about PlayStation 5. So, and also for the Gregs out there in the world, we're talking about the hot nurse in Persona 5. So the hot nurse in Persona 5 Royal got recasted for no reason. Literally, she has no new voice lines in Royal. They could have just reused all of her dialogue.
She definitely does for White Day, though, right? Like there's at least one or two things that
either
they had to
way,
add, but
it was
not significant.
Super minor. Like, text-to-speech could have been added and no one would have noticed.
Yeah.
But, like, the reason behind it was that the voice actors couldn't do the anime. And so the girl they got to fill in the anime... Because the anime was recorded before Royal was done. Because the anime was done forever ago, I found out. And so what happened was... The lady who they got to fill in for her in the anime was like, you guys are doing the game? Can I just do her lines? And they're like, come on down!
Man, why does the anime ruin everything?
Yeah, literally. So, if you don't like the new voice of Hot Nurse, literally blame the Persona 5 anime. It is the 2020 of anime.
Listen, I'll give her some credit, because I think it's Erica Mendez. I could be wrong. Maybe. I don't know. It's a good voice. It's a very, very good fitting voice. It's just nowhere near as good and fitting as the old one.
Her voice is fine. Her acting is fine. Her voice acting on that character is not matching correctly.
She is a... Am described it perfectly. It's a 9 out of 10 voice for when the original was 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because she has the young doctor aspect and like the goth doctor aspect, but she doesn't have the back alley doctor aspect.
She doesn't have the, oh, I'm scared, but also aroused aspect.
Of course.
And for anyone listening who doesn't really have like a good kind of comprehension, it's like the thing that made her voice character a little bit more like sort of interesting or stand out, but was like she didn't just like have like I'm like sultry doctor voice. Like she kind of had that raspiness to her voice, like not Dr. Girlfriend from the Venture Brothers raspy, but like she just sounded like older and like more mature. Whereas the new one literally just sounds like, oh, you could be any background character from Shujin Academy.
Yeah, you can be at my school. It's fine.
I don't know. The fact that this isn't Royal, though, is just funny. And because, like, Persona 5 is basically... Vanilla P5 is basically given away nowadays because no one wants it. It's my second favorite game of all time. But, you know, nobody wants it because there's a better version.
And
Yeah.
let's be honest, Atlas isn't going to update it to remove streaming restrictions, so it's not like it'll be
No,
any better.
No, they won't.
Yeah, but I'm not surprised Royal's not on here because none of the games came out after God of War.
Well, Days Gone, but you could be forgiven for forgetting that.
Yeah, but nobody wants to play Days Gone anyway.
Yeah.
I'll say this: I would have played Days Gone for free. I trust Sony Bend enough to give it a chance for free, but like I've heard that game gets a lot more shit than it probably deserves. But yeah, like Days Gone was a perfect add in here. Like Days Gone for me was like a Detroit Become Human. Like if you're gonna play that game, you're gonna enjoy it or not. Otherwise, you're just gonna shit on it like everyone else.
Okay,
I
Days
remember.
Gone.
I remember when The Last of Us 2 came out, everyone was saying, hey, don't play The Last of Us 2, play Days Gone. That's a way better game.
Hold on!
Shut your
hold
mouth. Shut your
hold
mouth.
on!
That's what I
Hold
think.
on!
I'm just saying that's what everyone else
Nyarly, I'm gonna slide you across this invisible table right now. Who said this? We need to find them and publicly ridicule them.
No,
day.
yeah, they deserve to be lambasted. Your options actually are just play Last of Us 1.
They're so different. That's like being like, I can't believe you want to play Spider-Man Miles Morales. Clearly, you should be playing Rise of the Inhumans on PlayStation 2 instead.
No, listen. You could play The Last of Us 2 Days Gone or the Left 4 Dead 2 update that comes out next week.
No. Here's the Omega one. Why are you being such a like beta virgin nerd playing 13 Sentinels? Be a Chad and just wait for Crash 4 like the rest of us.
Yes. You mean what the entire human race is doing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. By the way, I loved when I showed that poll I did asking who's actually planning on buying 13 Sentinels. I loved like what was it? My fiance just messaged me randomly in the middle of the day, be like, "Your poll looks like a middle finger," and I'm like, "That's an accurate way to describe the reception of that game."
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter how many 8 and 9s you get.
If
It
I got
doesn't
a
matter.
review code, but I didn't.
Thank you, Atlas
Yeah.
USO West.
Oh my god. So yeah, the PlayStation Plus collection, unless unfortunately you're a newbie to the PlayStation world or your name is Mirth, it's a good list, but like I don't know, it's fine. Like literally, besides Persona 5, every other game is fine to be on there. Like because even with like something like Mortal Kombat 10 not being Mortal Kombat 11, Mortal Kombat 10 still has worth as a game in a post 11 world. Whereas like literally nothing is gained by selling 5 after Royal.
See, I think the whole point of this though is it gets more people into Persona, and then you potentially have that ability to get more fans in the future.
And then you sell them Royal.
Exactly.
I want to meet. My new life goal. I want to meet someone whose first experience to Persona was playing Persona 5 on a PlayStation 5.
No,
That's because that technically is like, even though it's not the oldest game there, in theory it's basically the oldest game there next to like Last of Us.
I mean, I could see somebody like I could see somebody just like not like just being bored out of their mind with their PlayStation Plus subscription. They're like, okay, I guess I might as well try this Persona 5 game.
Look, I'm going to remind you guys that a lot of people who are going to buy this are also going to buy Call of Duty at launch.
Yeah, it's
And they have to have PS Plus to play it, so in 6 months they're bored out of their mind, and guess what they're going to play? This weird game called Persona 5.
Troglodytes thought Smash ruined the fandom. Wait till the Call of Duty boys get on in here.
Oh man,
that just takes me back to that Conan O'Brien clip of him reviewing Persona 5. He's like, oh yeah, it's a game where you go around your school making friends and doing chores. Wow, how creative, how fun.
Conan O'Brien is like, I'm waiting for the episode of Punk'd to like come into me and just be like, hey Spencer, you know all those years of people saying Conan O'Brien's really funny and great? Yeah, that was a joke. Did you get it? And I was like, no, I thought this was an inside joke since the beginning, and I don't understand why this has been taking so long to get revealed to me. Like, nothing against him as a human being. I'm sure he's fine. It's literally just like, when I like see how popular Conan O'Brien is, I'm like, there's no point to this. Like, he doesn't need ironic Funko Pop variants of himself in different outfits. Like,
Is it ironic? Is it?
If I see, like, listen, I've held in my hands, my actual human hands, a Funko Pop that said K-pop Conan O'Brien. And
Me too.
me and my fiance just looked at it and went, "Where is the K-pop here? He's just wearing overalls and trousers."
Give me a sec. Michelle, pick a cardinal direction. I have to punch a wall.
Left.
Conan O'Brien is
Left, Adam. The direction of left.
Conan O'Brien's fan base is older than I am.
It's like, I have nothing against him as a writer. Like, as a comedy writer, yeah, he's done fine. But, like, as a breathing human being, I'm like, can we kind of move on to anyone else?
It's not a personal attack. I don't hate him as a person. But if he stopped breathing, Spencer would be happy.
His hair is more popular than he is.
Look, I'm not accepting the Conan O'Brien slander that's happening right now. I didn't want to be on your podcast anyway.
Can I just say, can we retitle this episode to Conan O'Brien K-pop Conan O'Brien Funko Pop ruined PlayStation 5?
Would it be clickbait though? Would it?
I don't know. Was my last episode clickbait? Yes. Did anyone call me out?
Absolutely.
No.
Well, no, on your Twitter they did, because everyone was just like, this has nothing to do with Scramble. What do you mean?
Too bad more people liked it than complained. That means everyone loved it.
Yeah, I do want to also, while we're still on the PS Plus thing, kind of, I wanted to, I did want to point out just something really funny with my reaction stream, which was the fact that I had about 20 viewers. Only about 2 of them were actually active in chat, because, that's just how Twitch is. But when P5 showed up on screen for 3 seconds, vanilla P5, that's when my fan base popped off. And I was like, look, I didn't expect much of you, but more reaction for this than Miles, huh?
I'm a little legitimately surprised. Like, when I made my tweet about, like, P5 on PS5, I legit thought, like, oh, I'm sure 1 million people made this joke, right? And the amount of comments of people just be like, I feel so attacked right now. I'm like, you didn't think this right away?
Listen, I'm a very simple Neanderthal. I see Persona 5. It's the only logo out of all of those with a bright red background. I stand up and cheer.
You're literally, we need, like, the Persona 5 logo next to, like, it's that shot of, like, Joker next to a PS5, and we just need Caveman SpongeBob just going, Unga Dunga. Persona 5.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I yelled too because it's my game, but
it's a Pavlovian response for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Just remember, guys, like, a week ago, we were all sitting around being like, they've got to announce Scramble. Like, I mean, if it comes to PS5, that'd get a pretty big reveal, right? Like,
wait, we were kind of right. Persona 5 is a launch title for PS5, just not the one we wanted.
Yes.
But
also, a sentence that gave me cancer and terminal diabetes all at the same time. I read this and it, like, actually made me, like, die a little bit. Someone, like, replied to my tweet and was like, isn't Royal just Persona 5 with the DLC included? And I just, I legitimately, like, was like, oh my god!
It's not even included. It's a free download, but it's not included.
Guys, I went to my PS4. I checked for updates. There's no patches. Is Royal just already included on the disc? What's going on?
There's the redhead girl. She was DLC for the game, right?
Yeah, Sophie. Yeah, she's good.
Yeah, Sophie, you got it.
Listen, just like showing a Persona 5 Royal logo is a positive response for me, just on instinct. Saying that Royal could have been DLC is like an instant shutdown button on me.
Wait, that was a redhead girl's a new character? I thought it was a Mitsuru costume for Futaba.
Holy shit. 481 brings up a great point. We've been bitching just because this is the worst version of Persona 5.
It is a PlayStation 3 game.
Yeah, legitimately. We're like, it's not even a PS4 game. They're putting a PS3 game on this.
It's technically, in a sense, because at least Last of Us got remastered, this is technically the oldest game. This is technically the oldest game out of the entire list. Someone just
it looks identical. It looks identical to the PS3 version.
I'm gonna say this right now, just because, so we can finally move on. But this is just something that needs to be said. Also, Persona 5 Royal is still a PS3 game. Just letting everyone know, they did not ever bump that up enough to, like, earn its, like, 4K-ness to it. So that game is the definition of riding on its visual laurels.
I think it's pretty.
Hey!
I say
No,
it,
it
then
doesn't
it's
matter if it's pretty or not. I'm saying it still could run on a PS3.
But Spencer, I think it's pretty.
But
You know what? You know what I think is
looks
pretty,
pretty.
guys. I think the price point is pretty. But before we get into that, because that's going to be a much bigger topic, does anyone have any thoughts on God of War Ragnarok?
I mean, they didn't show any of it, so.
They at least had
looking forward
lines
to killing-
recorded. They had recorded 2 lines.
There's one that they missed out. They should have recorded. Boy,
I'm looking forward to killing certain God of War.
I want to say it was a joke on our stream, but as soon as we saw like the spiral thing, we all went, "It's the Sonic game."
Jesus Christ! Imagine being a Sonic fan and still thinking your game's happening in 2020.
It's gonna happen, brother.
they
It's
got a
coming.
game this year.
Imagine being a Sonic fan and thinking the next game is going to be good.
Oh my god. But yeah, I'm a big God of War fan. I was super late to in general. I know, Greg, you are as well. Nyarly and anyone else, did you guys play God of War 2018?
I've never been a God of
No,
War
not
fan. Like it's another one of those things where I'm like, this looks neat, but I'm poor and played through Persona 5 like 5 times, so I didn't have time.
I'll say, if you get a chance, like, it completely holds up. And even if you have never been a fan of God of War, like, that game just holds up as just like super quality. Like,
No, yeah.
100% agreed.
a
It's
gorgeous.
just
Like,
it's
what's
just
so
like a
funny is, like, it's the things that I love about it the most are, like, I'm amazed never got advertised, really. Like, it is an amazing, like, kind of Metroidvania-like game, and I never got that spoiled after, like, a year and a half of it being out.
Huh. I didn't even know that. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it has a whole ass hub world. Like, a cool little thing kind of going into this trailer for Ragnarok, because honestly, there's no point in really speculating, because us speculating about Ragnarok would just spoil God of War, which I still don't want to do for people. Just like, hey, play that game. It is really fucking amazing. You need no knowledge of God of War to enjoy it. But, like, if you look at that little circle, it had all the kind of runes there. That's the world map of the 9 realms, and each realm, like, there's a point in the game where you go to it, like, because there's, like, I think everyone has this, like, I don't know, Greg, if you would agree with me or not, there's that moment when you're playing through the game, you're like, wow, the scope of this game is so fucking huge for something so linear, and then when you get to the map room, and you look at the 9 realms, and you go, oh no, how big is this game?
100%. Yep.
Yeah, so
God of
play God of
War,
War.
that's
It
all
is...
I'll say.
It's so cheap. It's so good. It is also, like, if you're a cinematography fan, like, the fact, like, that the one-shot thing, like, works as well as it does is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For such
That's
a
one thing I did
masterpiece,
about it.
that game is not talked about enough.
No, seriously, and especially if you guys are, like SMT fans, like, who are really into crazy different sort of lore and mythology stuff for it, like, that's what I love about God of War. Like, it super got into it with the Greek stuff, but, like, even with the one entry we have into Nordic mythology, like, they really fucking knock it out of the park.
I think they nailed this one even better, honestly.
Oh yeah, 100%, because there was less of a focus on beating fucking skulls into the ground and worrying about story later, and actually, like, slowing that story down. Like, as much of a meme as it is to make that game all about boy this and boy that, like, you legitimately have some fucking trials.
It is a family story.
Yeah, it's so good. I really fucking love that game. I cannot believe it took me as long as I did to play. It's like, even for you guys, like, I can say that game is probably not going to get any sort of PS5 remaster. If you guys have even half an semblance of wanting to play it, just go play it. Like, it's not that long. Like, Greg, how long do you think, was it like 15 to 20 hours?
25, 30.
Mm-hmm.
And that's if you don't do the, like, end-game stuff.
Yeah, like, oh my, yeah, dude, the in-game stuff, like, I didn't even platinum that game. Like, that game has got so many stuff. Like, Ozzy, I'm surprised you played it. That's one of those games I feel like I would want you to play, but you would never play.
I've never beat it personally. I know how it ends. I just need to. That's one of those things that I need to actually just go into and just finish.
Yeah, like, all those, like, big, like, first-party PlayStation games, like, there are so many of them, like, I just can't ever imagine, like, not finishing, whether I like it or not. And I've so rarely ever really been burned. Like, kind of talking about this, like, are there, like, big, like, when you guys think of big first-party PlayStation games, at least from the PS4 generation, like, what are ones that stick out to you in, like, a positive light? Like, Nyarly, like, what's, like, a big, like, PlayStation first-party developed game that, like, it sticks out to you as, like, a big positive from this gen?
Bloodborne.
Oh, yeah,
Ratchet and Clank.
Oh God! What an underrated game, Ratchet & Clank. I can't. It's
it
legit.
needs to be longer though, but
It was
so good what is
$40 for something that was a movie tie-in for $40. That game like had no right being as good as it was.
No, that's what excites me about the new game is it's going to have even better gameplay than that from what I can tell, and it's actually like a full length experience for like Ratchet and Clank.
Ozzy, what about you? What's a first-party PlayStation game that just like bam PS4? What do you think of?
Do I need to say the obvious because it's my entire simpage for my channel?
No. And we're specifically for this one. It has to be published by PlayStation.
Yeah.
Oh,
Persona 5
Shadow of the Colossus.
Sorry. Say it one more time.
Shadow of the Colossus remake.
Oh, that's 100%. A good one.
100%.
Yeah, because when you think of remakes, that one never gets talked about enough. But that one's an amazing remake. Michelle, are you back? I thought I heard.
I'll just
Michelle.
say Ultra Despair Girls, and let's say that.
No.
I just returned. Who said Ultra Despair Girls? What happened?
We're doing a roundtable question really quick about PS4 PlayStation published exclusive. What's the one that kind of sticks out to you that you'll remember the most from this generation in a positive light?
I like Persona.
That's not published by PlayStation, goddammit.
I like Persona.
We
All
haven't
right.
played a lot of.
It looks like it's
PlayStation
gonna have to be Knack 2 for you then.
Damn it! No wait. Fortnite.
You did this to yourself.
My PlayStation 4 exclusively exists for Persona 5 Royal and Spelunky 2.
You could have said Spelunky 2.
Collection already.
You could have just said Spelunky 2. They literally published that game.
Oh, did they? All right, cool. Spelunky 2. Let's go.
Why do you think it's a PS4 exclusive?
I didn't realize it was published by them. That makes sense, but I didn't realize it.
Oh, Michelle, you beautiful, beautiful Ann Perkins simile.
It's been a long day. I've been on a live stream for like 6 hours total today.
And you got a whole nother 4 left to go. So, mine's tough because I've played almost all of them with the exception of, I think, Iron Man, VR, and Days Gone. I'm sure it's just GOTY hype still kind of pushing it down for it, but man, nothing hit me harder this year than Last of Us Part 2. Like, meme it as much as you want, but fuck that game. When that game hits hard, it hits fucking hard.
I can believe it.
So we've talked about exclusives. We've talked about PS4s. We got to talk about the big one. That what's so funny is we've been talking for almost 2 hours, at least recorded, about the PS5, and we haven't even once talked about its release date or price, just because like how crazy this fucking showcase was. So for starters, I'll let you guys pick. Do you guys want to talk about the date first and how we feel that lines up with Microsoft, or do you guys want to talk about the price?
We've been waiting for the price way too long. Let's just get it out of the way.
Yeah, let's talk about the price.
Okay, cheapskate number 1. Go, Nyarly. How do you feel about the price? $3.99 digital, $4.99 physical.
That's actually about 100 more than I was expecting them to be.
What? But, you thought these were gonna be $2.99 and $3.99?
Yeah.
I want what you're smoking.
Dude, have you looked at what's in
the
these
Xbox
things?
Series X is 500. I thought they were gonna price it under that.
But you're looking at the guys who are taking the lead with 120 almost million consoles sold. Like they don't have to worry about that.
Important to remember. Remember, PlayStation, with the exception of PS3 at launch, never sells at a loss. And Ozzy, we were just talking about this. Wasn't the PS5 like rumored to cost like what, $480?
$450 to
yeah, so like they're still making a profit.
Yeah,
but
cost of it was $479.
But Xbox, and this has not been official because they have no benefit in saying this, many people have already confirmed this behind the scenes. They are losing money on both Series S and Series X. That's how they're barely making those prices happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what a lot of companies do. Like they'll sell their console at a loss, and then they'll hope to make up for it in software sales. I mean, that's
I
what
don't
they
think
did with
that's
PS3.
Yeah, but they do that with PS3, and they also say you're gonna need a second job to get this console.
Yeah,
Thank you, Sony.
but
I still don't
I don't know.
understand.
Like, I mean, I'm not really surprised that it was launched at the price that it was. I was just part of me was expecting it to be.
So for you, give me you're sitting there. You've got your washboard abs right in front of your laptop screen. You're watching this press conference in your luxury condo. The harem is waiting for you. You said, "Hold on, women. The price is about to be revealed, and then I will reveal myself." You see the price. What comes out of your mouth? What do you think at these prices of $3.99 and $4.99?
I think I think they're appropriate. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna sell really well.
So, but you are not sold on either. Like, so you saw those prices and went, "I'll keep waiting."
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
What price could they have dropped realistically? Because I cannot imagine $2.99. What price did you like? Would they have had to say that you would have been like after today's showcase? You're like, "Fuck it, I'm in. Let's go at launch."
Like, you want me to be realistic?
Realistic, and also what would have pushed you out of your chair to get in pre-order in today?
Well, I am a cheapskate, so I'm gonna say $2.99.
Okay, I'll see you in 3 years when the PS5 Slim comes out.
Okay.
Oh, actually, no. Important question though. If the digital goes cheaper first, do you think you'll pass on the physical, or will you wait till the physical is $2.99?
No, I'm gonna wait. Well, okay. I'm not saying I'm gonna wait till it falls to $2.99 to buy it. I'm just saying, like, with where I am right now.
Yeah, no. I get what you mean in terms of, like, that's the price you feel comfortable with, but obviously things ebb and flow and change. But I mean, like, for you, are you, like, hard pressed, I'm getting one over the other, or if you see one at a better deal, could you see yourself going digital to save the money?
Okay, like, if I find the digital version for, like, dirt cheap, then I'll get that. But otherwise, I'm gonna get the physical edition.
Okay. Michelle, what about you? When you saw this price, I've not seen what, again, I'm looking at my notes here. Resident Floridian Adam says, a very boring stream. What did you guys think when you guys saw the price?
I'd say it was roughly what I expected. $100 for a disc drive is a bit, but why though?
I will say this, because we were just talking about this in like a Discord a couple of days ago, because I think I was giving you shit, Nyarly, about the disc drive not being more than $50 or whatever. Someone did bring this up to me. It is important to note this is not just a disc drive. This is a Ultra 4K, like UHD disc drive, and those are much more expensive in terms of disc drives.
Those are selling at Best Buy for normally $180 on sale for $160.
Yeah, so like, while I'm sure it's nowhere near the price that Sony's playing, like, there's a reason the PS4 Pro dropped that disc drive and stuck with the Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm. All right, I can.
Didn't the Xbox One S have it?
Yes, the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X.
But they need all the help they could get.
They still do.
In that case, I can understand it a bit more. I still want to get the disc version because I like my physical games. I'm not getting this at launch because, you know, I'm poor, and I mean, if Morales is going to come to PS4, that's my big thing, so I'm fine with that. So, I don't know. It's roughly what I expected for the price. I will probably pick this up a bit later down the line, but yeah, it's roughly what I expected, I'd say.
Okay, so then for you, waiting for physical, gonna go digital, or either or?
I'd want to get a physical one, definitely.
You're on the right side of history. Greg, what about you? When you saw those prices, what was your reaction?
I wasn't surprised. I mean, on my podcast, we've been talking about how the PS5 is going to be $500 since like they announced it, and then we suspected $400 when they showed off the digital. So I wasn't really surprised at all.
And obviously, I mean, I don't even need to ask you, like, you're physical all the way. Like, I don't think, you and me specifically, I don't think there's anything that could have, like, Sony would have to pay us $500 to prioritize the disc version. I mean, to prioritize the digital version.
Yeah, I'm not going all digital. Even though most of my games are all digital, I don't plan on ever going all digital unless I'm actually forced into it.
Plus, like, for me, it's not always just games. Like, I still use my PlayStation as, like, my Blu-ray player for movies and
Mhm.
DVDs. Like, I use it for everything. Like, I'm not, like, I don't have, like, a dedicated Blu-ray or movie player.
See, I don't agree with that because I don't want my Blu-ray player to go out on my PS4, so that's why I use my Xbox for.
I mean, if it wasn't that, it would probably just be a paperweight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you and I are pre-ordered and locked in, so your question is already answered. So, Ozzy, for you then, you saw the price. Was your sentiment any more different than Michelle?
It was predictable. I'm already gonna buy it anyways. Probably not at launch, but whenever it's feasible.
Now,
500's fine.
now, for you, I can see it going either way. Are you a high physical guy, or do you think you would save the extra 100 and go digital?
I'm actually closer to you and Greg. Like, again, you would have to basically pay me to. Like, it's $100 difference. Like, I'm not gonna be that desperate to play a PS5 that I can't waste the extra $100. I need to get the digital. For me, if I'm gonna be getting a game system, I'm gonna get at least the optimum version where I can actually use discs because I like actually having that physical collection.
I'll say this:
So-
I was very surprised it was $100 difference between the two. I was so set thinking it was going to be 50, and just in that way of like, hey, PlayStation, like, it's all profit, baby, for that digital version. Because think, not only is it a cheaper thing for them to make in the long run, not even thinking of the disc drive, just in the sense of, hey, when you commit to this system, every purchase we're getting a higher percentage than retail. So like. You would think that the safer bet would be this is 50-50, but from everyone I've been following on Twitter and has been saying about the pre-orders, and obviously this is more skewed for brick-and-mortar retailer stores, it has been very much the opposite of what I was guessing. 80% of all of this allocation looks to be physical, and 20% of this first run looks to be the digital version, which I would have totally thought it was going to be 50-50. So for you, do you think you would just wait till you could afford the $500, or do you think you're going to try and wait for a price cut if you even have any idea when you want to get it?
I think I'd just wait for a good opportunity to get the 500. If a price cut came before that, fair enough. But yeah, it's not something that's gonna greatly destroy me to have it there.
This is like the difference, by the way, between like where they are in the like kind of ecosystem of games right now with Xbox and PlayStation. PlayStation. Well, here I'll do this one first as the lesser example. Xbox. Here's our new systems and here's the price. Oh, that's actually cheaper than we were thinking it is. That's actually not a bad price for the specs, even without the disc drive on the cheaper one. Oh, hey, they have a pricing model plan. So, I mean, I didn't really want an Xbox, but, I mean, it's like $25 a month. It's not really that much extra money to get a next-gen system. So, I mean, I might as well. Compared to PlayStation today of, buy, oh my god, where the fuck are pre-orders? Jesus Christ, can I give them all my money yet?
Yeah.
Well, is the Xbox One S really next gen?
Yes, I would say that's next-gen. I've looked at those specs. Like, it is going to be, in the long run, a more powerful hardware than, like, even the Xbox One X. So I would say, like, the S is, but, like, honestly, and this is less of a flattering name, the only reason I would ever tell anyone to get the S is just like, hey, do you want like a really cheap, awesome Game Pass machine? The S is just a Game Pass machine. It is not for physical.
Do you have an Android phone?
No, because then like that's still streaming. At least with the S, you're downloading to your hard drive. It has those. It has the game switching. It has the SSD. Like you have those like tangible features.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's comparable. I think to the X. I think it's slightly more powerful, but not enough to say it's a full next gen. It's like buying an iPhone XS.
Plus, the one thing that they continue to lord over Sony, and clearly Sony knows that they don't have to care at all about this, but dude, like, we all can sit here saying how much we love PlayStation more than Xbox, but we can all look back and say, dude, Xbox still kicking ass with backwards compatibility. I would pay my left and right nut to get PS5 to care about backwards compatibility that much.
I think I might
think
need those. So.
it's going to cost a lot more than your left and right nut to get Sony
Exactly.
to do that.
Just wait till I ask for trophies.
Well, like
We've
the
seen
thing.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say a lot of people are saying like, oh, well, if you care about backwards compatibility, go to Xbox. It's like, okay, well, I can't play games like Persona or Shadow Hearts or like Xenosaga or whatever on Xbox.
Yeah, but do you
It's
remember
like
the
what-
last time PlayStation tried to do Xbox or backwards compatibility? It lasted what, 6 months?
Yeah, the PS2 initiative on PS4 is like one of the saddest. Like, I've seen like relationships in high school last longer than PlayStation 4 and PS2
Oh,
classics.
I was
Okay, well,
talking about PS3.
No, dude, if you go and look, they were doing PS3, PS2 classics past the PS4, PS2 classics. Like, they have all the Suikoden games, all the Atlas games, for the most part. Like, they have a crazy amount of PS3 games on there, and the only difference was, and people never talk about this because it wasn't super well known, every game on PS3's classics was put up there by the publisher who just did this. Here's the ROM file. Here's our money for cert. Put it on the store. Because that's all they had to do. It was just emulation. But for the PS4, it had to be made by this specific studio internal at Sony. It had to have a brand new set of trophies. And usually had to have some sort of like widescreen or like some sort of like little stipulation. So a whole bunch more work went into it because they thought, oh, these are going to sell like gangbusters. Because remember, what were the first games announced for PS4, PS2 collection?
Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Those sold like fucking gangbusters, and they thought, oh my god, dude, everyone's gonna want these. Let's put Jack and Daxter. Oh.
Oh.
Everyone hates this port? Oh, a lot of PS2 ports are bad? Well, how much would it cost to fix it? Ooh, no, let's just kill that. Can we just kill this? Hey, you guys making Patapon 2 in the back? We're gonna hold on to this for 9 months, but like this whole program's dead. Everyone, you're fired. Please leave.
Well, it's also because a lot of the games they were selling are games that you can play on other platforms.
And better.
And you can get them for much cheaper. I mean, you can get all the Grand Theft Auto games on PC with
Well, like
all the mods and junk.
The GTA ones were fine. Like, if you wanted to play GTA, like, that's a great way to do it. They added some trophies. Like GTA was, like, they unfortunately blew their load in terms of, like, the big ones that the majority of people wanted. But, like, it would have been cool just to see other stuff. Like, put the fucking weird Medal of Honor games or Call of Duty games on there. Like, get some weird license games. Like, if you even look at the PlayStation 3 store, like, Disney put up their weird fucking Emperor's New Groove PS1 game, but we can't fucking get, like, weird licensed PS2 games on PS4?
I demand Finding Nemo for the PlayStation 2. It was an important part of my childhood.
I mean, it's just one of those weird things of like clearly like the way PlayStation thought they should go about it was just way too expensive for them to justify. But outside of like look at their own franchises. No Sly Cooper on PS4, no Ratchet and Clank on PS4. The only reason you got Jack and Daxter is literally because Naughty Dog paid for Sony to finish it themselves, hence why we even got Jack X. And it's just like, I love the PlayStation 2, and I have so much nostalgia for that system, but these PlayStation 2 ports are like the definition of no effort really went into them, which is so funny for how much effort Sony had to put into them with trophies and trying to fix stuff. Because, like, if you look at almost any of these PS2 ports on PS4, they are all terrible versions. Like, a great example is Limited Run Games this Friday is putting up the Metal Slug Anthology. Now, if I say this on paper, this gets a ton of people super fucking excited. Metal Slug 1, 2, X, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on PS4 for like $30. Holy shit, that's a great deal. There's trophies. I can't wait to play this game. Until you look back and notice that version has such horrendous input lag that only the Wii and PSP versions are better. And it's like everyone hates these versions of the games, but you have to buy it to know how bad they are. So yeah, it sucks. It's messy. Backwards compatible is tough, but like Xbox has just shown like they can fucking knock it out of the park. Like, for God's sakes, like, I know like we always meme about wanting SMT9 to be made backwards compatible. I'm not kidding. If that port ever does happen and that game came out, I would buy the most expensive Xbox in a heartbeat. Just because I'm like, listen, Big Philly, Spencer, if you want to fucking make me your BFF, this would be it. Rant over.
I mean, it'd be kind of cool if they made it so that like it would they basically translated it and then released it.
Yeah, I mean, dude, remember, we're living in a world where Shenmue 3 happened, Panzer Dragoon is back. Let this blow everybody's mind, because I found out how many copies Streets of Rage 4 sold. Streets of Rage 4, a sequel 20 plus fucking years in the making, sold more copies in less time than Persona 5 Royal. Streets of Rage 4 sold 1.5 plus million copies. And Sega didn't even have the balls to publish it. Like, we're living in a weird, backwards-ass time zone place where, like, nothing really makes sense, but it's just like...
It's been a strange gen.
I mean, it's been a strange gen, but, like, I think it's been great for the most part. But, like, I will say... Go kind of wrapping up my very, very long point with it. I am excited where we are. Going back to how different all the console makers are, I'm excited that everyone's doing such stuff so differently. Like, obviously, like, I I jumped into my car and did not jart to the nearest GameStop. Like, because, like, after this showcase, I was like, fuck, I have to have this game. Like, am I buying it for Sackboy's Big Adventure? Am I buying it for Astro's Playroom? Like, no, but, like, the stuff I'm buying it for at launch, I know I'm going to be happy with. And on top of that, like, with all the hours I've put into PlayStation before, like, I know the companies I love are going to support this system. Like, a great example, someone asked, why is a SMT podcast talking so much about, like, PlayStation or whatever for an episode? A, I'm fucking weekly, give me a break, I gotta talk about something. And B, like, no fucking duh, eventually Atlas is gonna port a PS5 game over that actually took some effort and not Persona 5 Vanilla. So, like... It's going to all be relevant eventually, just it kind of depends where. Because, like, how many people... I mean, Jesus, actually... Nyarly, I might be wrong, but, like, do you remember all of the people who would just tell us, hey, why do you have a PS4? Sorry, when are you going to get a PS4? Oh, I'm waiting for Persona 5. Like, they were just going to wait for that to come out.
Well, I mean, Persona 5 is coming to PS3, too.
True, but, like, there were people who'd be like, oh, I'll get it when, like, my favorite game of all time comes out for it. Because even though the versions are literally identical, like, it was at least one of those things that I want to play it on the newest hardware.
I mean, that was me. I didn't have a PS3, so... Well, P5's out. I guess I'll finally buy this game console.
Yeah, so... I guess kind of wrapping up the price thing, because, yes, this all started through, like, a price talk. I think the price is way lower than I thought it was going to be. I legitimately was ready for Big Dick Sony to be like, we're in first place, $600. Why not? Like, you'll pay it, because guess what? People would have, but at $600, I would have been like, I could wait. But, like, for what they showed in the $500, I was like, that seems totally fair.
Get a third job.
I just think that Sony... in regards to PlayStation, might have mild PTSD when it comes to unveiling consoles at 600.
Oh, they should.
I don't think they're ever going to go that high again.
You'll have Kaz Hirai PTSD, sleep paralysis demon, like, echoing in the corner.
Racer. The PlayStation 3 will retail for $599 US.
Like, as much as we fucking dunk on Xbox for their TV Xbox One presentation, people still meme that E3 for PlayStation way more than TV Xbox TV.
Yeah. Here's this giant enemy crab.
God, I miss E3. Remember when we had conferences, guys?
Yeah, that was fun. Now we have the summer of gaming.
Oh, fuck that shit.
I'm so mad.
Thanks, Jeff Keighley.
I'll see y'all at Anime Expo 2028.
Bro, you don't understand how mad I am that all that was for Atlas and Sega was just 30 minutes of Catherine. I'm so upset.
I like to imagine just someone who was in charge of booking Atlas assumed that that's what they would get and no one checked with them, and they were like, well, you didn't ask what we wanted, so we just gave you like a 30-minute raw file dump or whatever, so there you go. So wrapping up, I just kind of want to go, yay or nay, do we think the price is good or bad? Not if this is for us, not if like we're gonna buy it or not. Like $500 for physical, $400 for digital. Do we think that's a good price? Yay or nay? Greg.
Yay.
Michelle.
Yay.
Nyarly.
Yay.
Ozzy.
Do I need to be the contrarian, or should I just say yay? Like
no. Be honest. I want to know what you guys think.
It's a yay. It's a yay.
Okay. Because I mean, I can see it like too much. Because like, listen. I thought the craziest thing I heard today was Nyarly saying that it was going to be around $300, and then I was reminded that apparently some troglodytes out there said that they should play Days Gone instead of Last of Us Part 2. So remember, it's always darker somewhere else.
Someone said that Royal was just the DLC.
Oh god!
Spencer,
the heart palpitations are back.
Spencer, I do want to know if anyone was to say nay, it probably would have to be me, considering what I told you when you asked if I was going to get Spelunky.
That's true. I'm peering into. I'm seeing a vision. My shulk vision of $4 in your bank account.
Yeah.
So last little thing I want to talk about, because launch lineup is still kind of so nebulous, and obviously with not all of us getting it, not super relevant. I want to kind of talk about the date. So Xbox is launching November 6th, and PS5 is launching November 12th on a Thursday.
Whoa. Isn't Xbox November 10?
I thought it was 6. No, it was... No, nope. You're right.
November 10.
It was rumored 6, but yes, it is November 10th. So they are launching on the same week. Do you guys think that date is good? I love console launches being as close as humanly possible together, just because I'm a sucker for, like, fever and hype of just, like, I want these things to come out super close to each other. I want people to just be like, oh, man, check out my Demon Souls. Then I want Xbox fans to be like, well, check it out. I actually have a good-looking version of Yakuza 7.
This is the only aspect of console wars I actually enjoy watching.
I want to watch two people get into a fight in GameStop in the midst of a pandemic.
Oh, fuck you, dude. Don't do that to me.
I'm honestly kind of surprised that they're still aiming to launch those things this year.
Dude, remember, the ripple effect if they pushed it would just be too huge. Remember, we're like the pawns. Like, the die was cast. Like, coronavirus or not, these things were coming out hell or high water.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's weirdest about the date, have you guys looked at the calendar? The 10th is a Tuesday, the 12th is a Thursday, and Call of Duty Black Ops comes out on a Friday.
Well, you have you seen what they've already said about that, right?
No.
So, like, do you remember, like, how much of the PS4 launch do you remember working?
All of it.
So do you remember, like, the closer you get to next gen, the more loosey-goosey people get with release dates? Because I remember by the time I had my PS4 in hand, I had all of my games, give or take one or two, extra controllers, cameras, accessories, because guess what? Until you have the hardware, it doesn't fucking matter when you have Call of Duty Cold War if you can't play it.
Yeah, but if you remember, Call of Duty Ghosts came out before the actual launch of the PS4, and normally accessories come out before the consoles anyway.
That is true, but no, Call of Duty has already said, like, hey, guess what? By the time people are getting their hands on the system, like, yeah, it'll be fine. Like, they're kind of doing the Assassin's Creed thing, but they just haven't made as big of a public statement. But yeah, they've already said, hey, we are a launch game. Like, that one day, we're not going to make people wait and then go back to the store to pick it up again. Like, they're selling it at launch.
It's still weird to me that we're getting a Tuesday game and console launch, a Thursday game and console launch, essentially, and the following week is another Thursday game launch on the 19th of February.
You think that's weird? At the end of the week, we're going to be watching a horror movie starring Vince Vaughn in a little teenage girl's body in a horror movie, and I'm excited for it.
What?
It's called Freaky. Check it out. It's by the guy who made Happy Death Day to You. Vince Vaughn is a serial killer, and he tries to kill a boring high school girl. Their bodies swap Freaky Friday style, so now Vince Vaughn is in the teenage girl's body killing people, and the teenage girl is in Vince Vaughn's body, and honestly, it looks pretty fucking good.
Wait, that's what the Freaky Friday movie is?
It's called Freaky, yeah, and it comes out on Friday the 13th, so it is Freaky Friday the 13th.
Oh, you're telling me this is the Genocide Jack movie I've been waiting for?
Oh, it is! It is! Oh my god, it is! Oh my god.
No, you shouldn't even say that, Michelle. Do you really want to imagine, anytime you think of Genocide Jack now, that inside of her it's just Vince Vaughn?
Everyone thought the darkest part of the Danganronpa fandom was V3, but it was actually Vince Vaughn all along.
The darkest part of V3 is Vince Vaughn's career. Let's go.
The V! Oh my god!
The worst day of my life.
Oh my god, Michelle, the V isn't for... The V's for Vince Vaughn!
No!
hope you figured it out, boys. Now Jurassic Park 2 can rest in peace.
All right, we're changing the episode title again. It's going to be Danganronpa Vince Vaughn 3 Freaky Friday the 13th edition. Please help me. This episode's been going on for too long, and I'm desperately sick with allergy medicine.
Oh, see, I just figured the title was going to be Spencer Wants to See PlayStation's Big Dick.
I do. Whip it out, please. Please. Oh, it's Vince Vaughn's. Oh, it is Vince Vaughn. The dick was Vince Vaughn. All right, so
Spencer sucks PlayStation 16-incher.
Now we just upload the exact episode like on Pornhub with that title. It's the same podcast episode, but we just posted up like five some sucks off Blowfest. Also PS5 price revealed.
It's like going on Pornhub, seeing a video called it's something like Little Twink gets annihilated and it's Joker getting shot.
Jesus.
That's a real thing. You can look it up.
But yeah, so like I'm glad we're all equally excited for. I'm glad we're all equally excited for the release date. I was worried that people were gonna think, oh no, it's too close together. Because like for me, I remember when the Xbox One and the PS4 launched a week apart from each other. It was like like it was just enough time for it to kind of like feel separated. Where like I like the fervor of it's all happening against each other. Because there are a couple of insane people out there who are like, oh, I only need one, but because they launched just close enough, he gets both.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they both learned that launching your console like a year after the other is pretty much suicide.
Oh yeah. As you were saying.
I think she had a stroke. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
I just said consumerism. Please continue. It was not important. I promise.
No. So yeah, we're kind of wrapping up our 19 and a half hour long episode for it. But do you guys have any other like kind of big takeaways or topics you guys wanted to talk about regarding everything? We've talked about the price. We talked about the games that were kind of shown off. I'm surprised how universally positive everyone is about everything for the most part. I was really ready to come into this and everyone was going to be like, it was meh. Why did you pre-order it, Spencer?
It actually didn't set in for me how awesome all these announcements were until I actually like listed everything down right before we started. I'm like, wow, like the only thing here that is like an arguable negative in my eyes is Fortnite, and in reality, I just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle, how boring was this live stream that like that was the highlight? Was not the reactions? What happened with you guys' live stream? Should I be concerned what you guys are not doing for a reaction stream?
What, the P5 was our big thing?
No, I'm just like every time Ozzy keeps talking about the reaction, he's like, yeah, it just didn't really hit for me. It all felt kind of flat. But
Listen, we were tired.
Oh no, that's not that. It's the fact that Adam's a douchebag and hates everything I make. It's fine. It's fine.
Finally got called out. I appreciate
I'm
it.
just curious, does Sackboy Adventures become this generation's knack?
Oh
would...
no!
Don't say that to Adam. Don't say that to Adam.
I know Sackboy's like a beloved character, but he's just gotten so little like attention this launch that it just feels like, oh look, Knack 3.
Because I was already kind of bummed when they announced the game anyways, because I'm like, oh look, it's Sackboy, and that's not Little Big Planet.
I'll say this.
Oh, it's just Super Mario 3D World. It looks kind of neat, but okay.
I'll say this. If they want to make a win in Sackboy's Big Adventure, I will buy this game if I can get this confirmed through some way. If there's a Knack joke in it, I'll consider that game a success.
You know what? You're right.
Mark Cerny will announce that joke.
You know what's so weird? Like, we never saw Mark Cerny after his GDC talk.
God.
Well, like, I mean, I know people thought that was boring, but, like, I love listening to Mark Cerny talk. Like, Mark Cerny's just a big tech dude. Like, and I've followed him since, like, the Crash Bandicoot days.
That man wants pictures of your ears.
Yeah, dude, ears are hot. Why do you think ear fetishes are a thing?
If he had said feet, I'd have been like, cool, this dude's kind of kinky, but he said ears.
I don't want to put headphones on my ears. I want to put headphones on my feet. Mr. Cerny, please listen to my feet.
Send me pictures of your feet and I can make the sound better.
Oh, God, I hate this.
Spencer wants PlayStation devs to look at his feet. You heard it here. Sorry, his feet. That's our new title. Just managed to throw in Vince Vaughn and Conan O'Brien, and I think we're set.
Oh man, this episode's gone on some nightmarish areas.
It's been an adventure.
But yeah, shout outs to Sackboy for somehow being a launch game and still not being cool enough to be shown at your own parents' showcase.
It is very sad. Listening to Adam talk about this game, since he's a huge Little Big Planet fan, has been very entertaining of how conflicted he is on this.
The fact that it's the Super Mario 3D world of Little Big Planet is already a sad statement. The fact that it's also being made by Sumo Digital is an even sadder statement.
Hey, Sumo Digital can do pretty awesome games. Like,
they can. No, don't get me wrong. They can. I also know that they also can't. So,
I mean, listen, they can do amazing work in the same series and genres and make both the best and worst entries in those series. Like, look at Sonic Team Racing, ass. Sonic Racing Transformed, fucking amazing.
That's what scares me.
Well, it can't get worse.
I mean, it could be literally. What if the reviews for Sackboy's Big Adventure is worse than Crackdown 3?
Oh.
Okay, well at least Sackboy's Big Adventures didn't get delayed by like 5 years.
That's true. No one was like, they didn't need to shoehorn Terry Crews into Sackboy's Big Adventure. Like, imagine if they reboot Sackboy and it's just Terry Crews and he's like, I made a sack. Get on in here.
Okay, listen.
Hey, there's still more time. It could get delayed. We don't know.
Listen,
There's time.
As a Little Big Planet fan, I've been punched in the face 3 times in a row by this series. First by Hub getting canceled, then karting existing, even if that was okay, and then Little Big Planet 3 just being a game that does not work. I can't take a 4th punch. I can't.
Get ready.
Sonic,
Here we go.
Speaking of random Sackboy games that everyone forgot, Ozzy, do you remember Run Sackboy Run, the auto runner that came out on phones and Vita?
Sorry, there was a 4th punch.
I was playing that recently. Like, I'm someone who's dumb enough to have gotten every trophy in Jetpack Joyride, which literally takes hundreds of hours to grind. And I played 20 minutes of Run Sackboy Run, and this was a free game. Like, Jetpack Joyride I paid for. And I was like, this is somehow worse?
Spencer, what did you play Jetpack Joyride on?
Vita.
Okay, at least you played it portably. I essentially accomplished the same thing on console.
No, you got it on PS3?
I got it on PS.
Oh, it was on PS4 as well, but they did it on both.
I got the PS3 version actually. I think I have the PS3 version.
Oh my god, doing that actually in front of a TV screen sounds like actual punishment. Like, the only way would be worse is if you were like,
but also fun.
You were like, I had to watch The View and play Jetpack Joyride on PS3.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh my god. You know, the only thing more sad about this is that we haven't asked Nyarly, what do you think about games costing $70? I have been dying to ask you this question.
Well, they're probably still gonna have microtransactions, so it's dumb.
Well, that's a pretty blanket statement. Like, every game that we know is $70 outside of... Okay, every game we saw today that we know is $70 does not have DLC or microtransactions.
Yeah. I mean, Sony's first-party games aren't going to have them. So, like in the sense that games are getting bigger and more expensive to produce, it's like, yeah, I'm not really surprised that they cost $70. But at the same time, third-party games are going to be chock full of microtransactions. So,
yeah. Greg, I feel like you would have an interesting perspective in terms of price for it. How do you feel about now we're kind of moving out of just $60 games?
I mean, I'm going to hear all about it constantly, but games have been $60 for 15 years? 17 years, something like that, since the PS3 came out. So
no, dude, since the Xbox 360, so 2005.
2005, yeah, okay. So for 15 years, you spent $60 on games, when before that, games weren't really regulated to a single price. So it's not a surprise. You have inflation, you have other factors that go into that, bigger teams, longer production times. Like, yes, it's going to cost more. If you want to get mad about third-party games, blame microtransactions, blame Bethesda.
Super good point. And like, also, I want to bring up a great thing of people are talking about the $70 price a lot, but no one's been mentioning, hey guys, we're going into this generation with actually the most flexible pricing we've ever seen. We have next gen games launching that are going to be $20, $30, $40, $60, and $70 now,
And 50.
Yeah, and so like you're right with Miles. We have like with a $50 one. So like I like that we're having this kind of thing of like, hey, games don't need to just be 20 for shit, 40 for bargain, and 60 for big boy games. Like we need to like get out of that mentality because like that's not sustainable as microtransactions have clearly shown us. Yeah, so it's like all joking aside, the next like big mainline Atlas Shin Megami Tensei or Persona game comes out and it's new, like yeah, I'll pay $70, $80 for that. Like, I'm sure I'm going to get the most bang for my buck out of this 100-something hour RPG. Nocturne Remastered, you're fucking having a joke if you're charging more than $40.
Mm-hmm. I'm like one of the few people like who I've talked to where obviously there's consumer brain of, yeah, if the game is cheaper, awesome, good, I can get it more easily. But I've always seen it more like through that industry side of, it is unreal that they've kept it 60 for so long, and people are like, if you push it above 60, no. I'm like, at this point they have to.
But because like my way of looking at it as well is it's like $70 also doesn't stop games from going on discount once they get kind of old. Indie games still being super cheap and really good quality, like smaller things. Like $70 price points for AAA does not change what everything else will be.
Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, a game comes out within a year, it's gonna be like you'll be able to find it for like $20 or $30 easily.
Yeah.
I remember like PS3 games. Like you'd be there were like PS3 games that were like 4, 5, 6 years old, and you'd be hard pressed to find one of those for under $30.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I got Bloodborne for 20, and that's freaking great.
Another, by the way, like bump on the go physical over the digital edition, like all like format wars stuff aside, like yes, digital sales are way more frequent and stuff like that. But if you look at like AAA big games, like just take examples of like how quickly new third party things happen. Like Tony Hawk just came out. I bought that on launch day for $30. That game is $40. Like you're not getting that deal at launch for digital.
You could have bought Persona 5 Royal 2 weeks after it launched for 45 or 30 or whatever it was.
With a Funko Pop.
Yeah.
Yes. That's the thing. It's like I do think getting the physical PS5 will be cheaper in the long run because of that, assuming you buy a decent chunk of your games physical.
I will say this though, people say like physical collectors are like really annoying in terms of like, oh, get like physical or whatever. Like when I hear people, especially like people in games media talking about why digital is the future and how much they like hate physical, I can feel my brain cells dying. Like people be like let's be real. Who wants to get up and open a disc to put it into your system?
Dude, I saw one comment. It was like some guy trying to defend digital games, and he said he made some joke about getting up like. He made some joke about like a PC or a mobile gamer just changing programs on their phone or their computer, and then a console gamer has to get up off the couch. I'm like, okay, it's one thing to be too lazy to go to the store to get a game, but to be too freaking lazy to get your butt up off the couch to change discs.
Yeah.
Plus, we don't want another Scott Pilgrim situation to put in the most obvious.
Yeah, like that and PT were both examples of what an all-digital future would be like.
Yeah,
exactly.
And like for me as well, it's like I know not everyone's like this, but for me, there's always something special about getting a physical plastic box, opening it, taking a disc, putting in a game, and doing that for the first time with a game. And like that to me is something I enjoy about gaming is that moment.
Well, something tangible with something like that you love always will feel more fulfilling overall.
Yeah, there's like I could have emulated P3 FES, but like there's something satisfying about being able to turn around and see it on my shelf for the PlayStation 2.
Well, not to mention like all the people who talk about digital as the future, like yes, they're all the privileged people who live in major cities with high-speed internet.
Yeah.
Imagine being the guy who has to download the new Modern Warfare patch for 3 weeks on his dial-up just to play it.
Imagine living in Kansas.
Imagine living in a place where imagine living in a place where it's not uncommon for people not to have internet, like Brazil.
Yeah.
Like, and also bringing up another great point about like games media people, Greg, was like, not only are they in these places, like a lot of the most vocal people on there online are already these people who have no value or even concept of value for money. Like a great example of like oh my god, like I listen to like almost all kind of funny stuff still, but it always fucking grinds my fucking gears so much whenever they're talking about like, I know the value of $60. Like Greg Miller, you know a lot of stuff about things, but like you have not paid for a game in almost 2 fucking decades. You have no idea what the value is of anything. Like, and you hear them talk about this. I'm just like, you know what? For all of its problems and how ugly as shit as it looks, and like the fact that all of my friends are the voice cast, Avengers as a single player still worth $60. I'm like, get fucked. It's just like this thing of like, dude, how do you not see how close you are to this? Because like, at least for me as someone, like when I'm talking about games, reviewing them, or even getting them like for review copies, I always make a trend of this. If I get a game that I am reviewing or even just talking about or discussing that I got for free, I always buy it in the end, because that's just how it always is. Like, so when I get review codes, obviously they're not going to be physical copies, so even though I got Persona 5 Royal like early or whatever, I still bought my physical fucking copy. And is that the thing like I feel like I have to do to make my opinion more justified? No, it's because I'm a collector, but at the same time it still humbles me in the sense of I'm not reviewing this like, oh dude, Daddy Atlas gave me a game, I better be nice about it.
Yeah, and like freaking, I don't know, I like discs.
Yeah, it's fun putting your finger through the hole.
Like,
put that
when
in the
I hear
box.
people talk about,
I feel that. I'm gay. I feel that.
when I hear
talked
people
about
talk
discs
about
and
how not wanting to get up and like put a disc in a console, I just think of that. What was it, earlier this year, or late last year, when they did the model of what gamers will look like in 20 years when they're all hunchback with the headset divot in their dome, and they all look like they're haven't seen sunlight in 9 years. Like, that is what you look like when you brag about how digital is the future.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
You know
like
what?
if I-
Maybe they did have something when they were saying that you should play Days Gone.
Like,
it's not
think about it. When is the last time you saw people who enjoy physical copies of games being like, "Hey, dum-dums, enjoy your download list"? Like, we don't brag about it. Like, our bragging about it is, "Hey, look at my shelf." I love looking at my game shelf. I have such pride in my games selection. Like, when I have games free from PlayStation Plus, like, they're fucking meaningless. Napkins hold more value.
Yep.
Look at how much space I'm taking up in my house that could go to something that's not plastic, but there it is, plastic.
Nyarly, what were you about to say?
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, it's not like there are no reasons to go digital over physical, but like if you ask me, I just think the benefits of going physical like massively outweigh the benefits of going digital. Like I just cannot understand why people would say something like, "Oh, is there even any reason to go physical when there's a digital version?"
It's literally it's
Mr.
because
Nyarly-
the vocal minority in the media of games and like influencers are these people who live in like, they might not have like if you look at a lot of games media, they don't have like crazy ass apartments. They live in small houses. So hey, if I can make space, I'm Marie Kondoing my fucking life, so that means it's good. So games taking up space is bad, so digital games must be good. Like that, their whole thing is just because it takes up space, and when I have to move from my $9,100 fucking house that's on fire this year and might be on fire next year, like that's the only reason they're complaining about it.
Well, I mean that is something I can kind of understand, but that's also why a good chunk of my games are loose.
But like even you have like your games still. Like, what do I think your CD binder hurts everything about game collecting in my soul?
Oh.
Yes, but you still have the disc. You could put in Operation Darkness into your 360. Your disc is still there.
But Mr. Nyarly, what if I spill maple syrup on my copy of Yakuza 0? I can't spill maple syrup on my digital copy.
Oh, I hate that.
You can spill maple syrup on your console and fry
I could spill it into the PS4 disc drive.
Or
Listen,
Sega could just one day be like, you know what? We don't want people to be able to play this game anymore. And then they take it off the market, and then you spill maple syrup on your console.
Like,
oh my god, okay. I do have a quick story on that note that is really depressing.
Oh.
So, you know, like any smart human being, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Like any smart human being, I had PT, you know, Fantastic game.
Did you
Even
dip
after it got-
dip your PS4 in maple syrup?
I wish that was what happened because at least I'd have more pride in that. So, what ended up happening is what I would often do is, I would like to play PT. I would like to show it to people. So I would reset the save data for the game.
I know where this is going.
Well, here's the thing. It's even worse than you think. So one day I'm trying to do that, but because the PlayStation is a garbage console, listen, I love my PS4, but also I don't even understand. Like, I didn't click this. It just happened. Instead of deleting the save data of one game or the save data of every game, it deleted the save data and just the files for every game on my system out of nowhere.
Nice.
And I was like, well, there goes PT.
You see, Adam, this is what you said was more related. You said maple syrup. I really thought you were going to tell the grilled cheese story, but that's fair.
That's an equally depressing story. Is that worth going into right now?
That sounds like a great after show story.
Yeah, I'll just get a tangent about the grilled cheese thing, but because it's not PlayStation, but man, does it make me laugh.
Jesus.
Stuff for later.
All right.
Hi, guys.
Well, we talked about price, we talked about dates, we talked about games, and we talked about maple syrup. Does anyone else have any other major talking points they want to do, or should we start wrapping up?
I guess one thing I want to bring up about digital is just the fact that the absolutely terrifying dystopian future to me is one day Steam shuts down and there's no way to have those games anymore.
That would be
I honestly, a tiny part of me kind of wants Steam to just kind of get nuked one day, just because Steam is like the one big one that everyone always kind of lords. Is like, look, all my games are here safe, and it's like,
no, they're not.
It's not safe forever.
Yeah, Valve isn't going to keep this safe. It's still DRM, technically.
Man, I hope Green Man Gaming holds on to my saves.
Hmm.
You know what? This is one little thing that I think would be interesting to point out, just because I wonder how many of you guys actually are even aware of this. Who here actually knows how much hard drive space all of these PS5s are going to have?
825.
How do you guys feel about that? Because the big point of contention, as we were joking about Warzone taking up a system's worth of memory, was, hey, isn't it going to fill up really, really fast? But the big, I guess, counter-argument to that has been, okay, it's a smaller hard drive because of how, like, these are all, like, both systems have custom kind of SSDs that are made to trim down, like, basically trim down all the fat, no more duplicating files, and in theory, games should be smaller in download size and load exponentially faster. How do we all feel about that? Because I know, like, Nyarly, for you, like, you were already kind of complaining about, like, how small of a size that is. Like, how do you feel after hearing the sort of, not excuse, but sort of the reasoning behind why it is so small and, like, so specifically, even though it's under a terabyte?
Well, I mean, they'll have to actually do it for me to not complain about it, but knowing them, they're probably just going to make their games like 200 gigabytes each.
Yeah, like, I'm in the same boat as you of, like, it's really easy to say, guys, we got it. Spider-Man is going to be so much smaller now, but, like, as someone who knows so many, like, game developer friends, if you give someone a whole candy shop and say, guess what, this portion of the store cleans itself now, it's going to be so much less work for you. Are you saying they're not going to still use the whole candy shop, like, to its maximum potential?
Well, another thing is, like, even if, let's say, like, Miles Morales launches and it's like 15 gigabytes, what's to prevent them from updating it to make it go from 15 to 150 gigabytes?
Probably,
I mean,
probably about 3
Fallout,
games worth of data, but I know what you mean.
Didn't Fallout 76 have, like, a 40 gigabyte patch on day one?
Day one, yeah.
Games as services are like such a weird one. Of like my favorite game I love playing with Greg will be like when Call of Duty comes out. I feel like every year, Greg, don't we like text each other and be like, okay, the disc is empty and you have to download everything.
And it's immediately followed up with an oof. Yeah, every year.
It's like I get it because like in terms of like I'm sure by the time every Call of Duty comes in, because it is so yearly, like those games are coming in hot out of the oven. But like literally, Call of Duty, you are like that disc has no actual data. That is just an installer key.
Yeah, I own it. That's all it is.
I mean, I think it was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, like, the disc only had the
Oh my
tutorial
god,
on
I
it.
forgot about that!
Yeah,
Tony Hawk
I remember
5
that.
had an insane patch for its garbage multiplayer. It had to patch in, like, half of the game. Oh man, digital's awesome, guys.
This is the future.
So much better than physical, am I right?
Back in my day, you put in the game and you played the game.
You had to run to the store to buy it.
To me, it does also partly depend on how easy is it going to be to actually expand, like how much safe space you have, like with external stuff. But...
And how expensive. It's
So
gonna be,
so Microsoft, we have custom memory NVMe drives that plug into the back of the system that are already like, I think, what was it, Greg, isn't it like 500 gigs was like almost $200?
I haven't seen any prices yet.
Okay, so I know they have pricing on 500 gigs, which I'll look up in a second. But so for PlayStation, they're in a little bit of a better spot, but it depends on what happens. So like with PlayStation 5, it's technically like the PS4, where you can put in a new hard drive, but because the technology they're using on these PS4 SSDs, these PS5 SSDs, are so different and so to specific specifications, if it is not specifically authorized and like says, hey, these are going to work on PS5s, like because all of the games are built with this specific type of hard drive, which it's literally like we're in the moment of them now coming onto the market. They're this new. So like there's not really any on to compare it to price wise. So best case scenario, everyone ends up using this type of SSD, and just like SanDisk, there's a million fucking SD cards out there, and they're super duper cheap like hard drives. Worst case scenario, they become like Vita memory cards, and God help you for getting a 64 gig card.
Xbox Series S 1 terabyte expansion card costs $220.
I'd like 2 war zones, please. I'd like 2 war zones, please. Oh man, next gen's gonna be
Digital
fun.
age, what a time.
Also, I will say, going back to the just because we can't stop beating a dead horse, deleting a giant ass physical game and then having to watch it re-download no matter what your speed is never as satisfying as just putting the disc in and just being able to play.
It's always a guarantee that I'm never going to play that game again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because that's the thing. It's like, sure, it kind of sucks the Switch doesn't have that much space, but a micro SD isn't that expensive. Sure,
Also,
Fortnite takes up half a console.
I'll say this. I don't brag about the Switch very much, technically. They were very smart to make all those games run off the cartridge. They're not installing from the cartridge. The fact that every game instantly runs from those carts, like, hey, you can bitch about Switch tax all you want, but when you pop in The Witcher, it's not installing shit. It's just playing The Witcher.
No, I think the most satisfying thing I've ever seen on a console was going into my memory my memory for my Switch, looking at Breath of the Wild, and it said 0 megabytes. I'm like, that's powerful. That's something I can get behind.
Well, it's also like Nintendo has this weird knack of being able to like shrink the size of the actual game itself. I mean, even Smash Brothers is 18 gigs at most with all the DLC.
I'm still amazed that they were able to fit the entirety of Wind Waker on one of those GameCube mini discs.
Oh my god! Even with all of its cut content, but like, what's so funny is like, Ozzy, like both of us are playing Hyrule Warriors, a game that literally never ends with its content. That game is 13 gigabytes.
It's my god. I'm gonna play Hyrule Warriors later.
Yeah, so
You've got me back.
I wish other companies were as frugal with it, like as Nintendo, but I think the thing that sucks about it is I legitimately think the only reason Nintendo is as good as compressing data is because they have to for cost.
Yeah.
Like if they had Blu-rays where it was like, oh fuck, it doesn't matter, make it 90 gigs, who cares? But like because these carts are so expensive, that's why you'll notice no first-party Nintendo game is on a 32 gig card or higher.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've never had huge games. I mean, look at Smash Brothers on the original Wii. It was 7 gigs.
But I mean, I'm even talking like Dragon Quest 11. They even squeezed down into 16 gigs, which is really commendable.
Oh crap!
Yeah.
Smash Brothers is the one that's magic. The amount of audio files alone literally should be 60 gigs.
No, yeah, I mean, like, they had to shave some stuff down, like, a couple songs with lyrics lost a verse or two, but, like...
Hashtag release the DK rap.
Yeah, DK rap. The one that I know hurts my boyfriend is Night of the Wind from Sonic and the Black Knight.
There's that. There's also.
He might literally be the only one. Like he was like, "Oh man, the song from Sonic and the Black Knight missing a chorus."
You can shit on that game as much as you want, but I will stand up for my boyfriend. Friggin' Night of the Wind is one of the best Sonic songs ever.
Sonic and the Seven Rings is a better game.
I 100%ed Sonic and the Secret Rings as a child. That's just a sad
I just
fact.
remember renting that game from Blockbuster, putting in Sonic and the Secret Rings, and that being my ears being blown off because it just blares that first line from.
So funny.
So fucking
Oh
loud.
my gosh.
It has been a running joke for me ever since Brawl that on the Sonic stages, Seven Rings in Hand is at like a 1% chance to play, just because it's funny every time.
I'm just gonna say this right now. Seven Rings in Hand definitely would make a good blow bang twink video. Just saying.
And it's actually a good song, just not when it's playing 90% of the game.
It's a fine song. I'm not even gonna go and call it good. It's serviceable.
Is it bad that every time I think of Sonic songs...
Because I was like, is it bad? And I listened to it, I was like, no, this is bad. Oh.
Is it bad like when I think of Crush 40, I just think of them like singing at the Sonic 30th anniversary concert, and just that one clip of like, hey, so let's hear it for another 30 years of Sonic, and just no one cheering.
I feel so bad for them. It's really funny, though.
Oh man. Hey, you guys want to hear a good joke? Is when people like still ask the question, so you guys, do you think Sega's ever gonna make another console? And I literally just laugh because like I get it. If you're like you're not like following Sega as a company, you could be forgiven for thinking, oh, they make Persona, they make Yakuza, like they're the company who owns Sonic. Like they must have millions of dollars. Sega is broker than Ozzy. They've got fucking $3 in their bank account.
But considering that both in television, the Amico and Atari are coming out, yeah, it's possible. I understand that.
All right, that's true. A shitty console could come out like the Game Gear like mini like fucking thing that they made and everyone already forgot about.
Oh, forgot about that.
But like literally like a good console people would want. Like no, Sega will never go back to like their crazy like 90 years, which like as much as I wish they would, because like that would involve them having to use their properties. And as you've noticed, Sega, like going back to Streets of Rage, Sega will give their properties out to fucking anybody. They just won't fucking. They'll make money from it. They just won't put money into it.
Listen, Spencer, that mini announcement was so memorable that we literally just chose to name that podcast over Steak and Shake.
That's so true.
They won't give the fans games they want, like Sonic Adventure 3.
What are you talking about? We got Sonic and Mario Olympics minus Mario on the phones.
Yeah, Sonic and Mario with the Olympic Games about an Olympics that never happened.
That's the funny thing.
It is.
It's really too bad because like my uncle who works for the Olympics told me Sonic Adventure 3 was going to be the final event of the Olympics this year.
Sonic Adventure 3 did come out though. It came out in 2006.
Yeah, and it was dog shit.
All right, we've talked about Sonic the Hedgehog for far too long. Everybody, thank you for joining this horrendously long podcast. Greg, thank you for joining me. Michelle, thank you for joining me. Nyarly, thank you for joining me. Ozzy, please be more excited about Michelle's live streams next time. You make it sound like it was like reading Mein Kampf.
I announced them in your server, Adam. Why don't you care?
So I'm just gonna go in no particular order. Let you guys tell everyone where they can find you online. Greg, where can people find you online? We need to have more people finding you online.
I need more people finding me online. You can find me on Twitter at TonkskyTonnksy. But I'm gonna do a shameful plug. If you guys could follow my podcast I do at the TDM Show on Twitter as well, and give us a like and follow. I need more people listening.
All right, Michelle, where can people find you besides Ozzy's server?
All right. Well,
Not even there.
Yeah, trust me, they can't find me there. No, for me, I am on Twitter. Is one of the places I'm most active. I'm Senorish everywhere. Senorish. On Twitter, currently, I am having my life ruined by Toradora and Spelunky 2. But if you want actual content from me, Twitch.tv. I do live streams of a bunch of different stuff. Tomorrow we're gonna be reacting to the Direct Mini Partner Showcase thing, and we're probably going to react to Tokyo Game Show. Adam will be there. And finally on YouTube, I'm actually making content again. We have a discussion about one of the greatest cartoons ever, Infinity Train, me and Adam did. And I am working on a video. I'm not going to be too specific, but it is a Persona video, and it's a character analysis video that is going to make everyone mad. So that is what I will say about that for now.
I saw Michelle's YouTube channel and just looked at random videos, and just the first video of yours I ever clicked on was this. It was the Danganronpa gay prom video.
Oh, it was funny.
I loved it. I loved like those like little like just hey let's take a comedy sketch and just put like somewhat related character reaction images. I thought that was great.
Oh, what's really funny about that, you might be able to tell, at that time I had not played V3 or even Ultra Despair Girls. I wasn't even big Toko simp yet, I don't think.
No, you were a normie back then.
Yeah, like so that's how much Danganronpa I played at the time.
Oh my god.
So yeah, that's why there's no V3 characters in that video.
All right, Ozzy, where can people find you online?
You can find me on youtube.com/Oziak. I make too many videos about Persona 5.
What do you mean too many? In a year, how many videos did you make? Too many.
Too many.
You made too many videos about Kunakazu Okumura.
That is even more accurate. Branching out to do more Megaton and Persona stuff, so follow me if you want. I'm also making a Toradora video eventually, soonish. So we'll see how that goes. You can also find my Twitter where I get mad at stuff at RevivedOziak, and that's it. But don't follow me on anything. It's fine.
Why does it say Ozzy in your Wattpad description? It just says the reason Shiho jumped. What does that mean?
I didn't know that.
Just seems really meta. I mean, people have to know a whole lot about things going on in your life for that to make sense.
Adam, I do recall that linked in the description of one of your videos, people can find you on Pop Tropic, I believe it was.
Oh, so a quick little note, in something that no one has ever pointed out, in every single video I've made, I always have a link to my Twitter, my email, my Discord server, and then we'll just throw in two like random bullcrap links to like
Habbo
my
Hotel
at Honda West or like I'll sometimes put like my second channel and it'll link to like Ego Raptor or Just a Robot or like El Smart.
Ew, man, I don't know if I want to say my second channel's Ego Raptor. I mean, that'd be a pretty bad second channel.
Yeah.
Your second channel's just like Magic the Gathering unboxings? Nyarly, where can people find your second channel?
Okay, well, you can find my main channel at youtube.com/c/Nyarly. I don't actually know the URL from my second channel at the top of my head, but you just go on the right to feature channels and you'll see my second channel. And you can also follow me on Twitter. It's crawling_Nyarly.
Nyarly, how long will I have to make fun of your podcast for A, being always hilariously late to upload an episode, and B, somehow not having me on still?
I don't know.
Great answer. All right, everybody. You can find me. I am on Twitter at Torchwood4SP. You can find the podcast at SMT Network. You can find my YouTube channel, which is so close you can almost taste it to 1,000 subscribers by searching Spencer Presley or Shin Megami Tensei Network in the YouTube button things. Everything's going to be in the show notes. Otherwise, make sure you join the Discord. There's a Facebook group, which you can also join by going to facebook.com/groups/SMT Network. Besides that, make sure to check out the podcast on Spotify, Google Play, Apple. Leaving reviews super duper helps. Holy God Almighty! It was only a 3-hour long show, but I hope everyone here enjoyed listening to it. Greg, Michelle, Nyarly, and Ozzy, thank you so much for joining me. Shoutouts to the ghost of Gabby, Nikki, and Virgil's Gimp boy, Mac, who could not be here but are in our hearts tonight.
And Conan O'Brien.
And K-pop Conan O'Brien. May you forever, ever, ever stay on those shelves.
Hated you.
But yeah, goodbye everybody. Thank you so much for watching.
See ya.
Now, what the fuck is that grilled cheese story?
Yeah.
That's all I'm here
I was
for.
waiting for it. Okay. So, back when I was going to my dad's apartment, before I exposed him for being the worst, I was staying. I don't know. Yeah, he wasn't there. I was just kind of hungry. I look in the freezer, and I see a bunch of like plastic wrappings of grilled cheese sandwiches. Sorry. No. I see a bunch of plastic wrapping of French toast, and because it looks like it's just like the soft brown bread you normally see in like packaging. It's got the stripes in it, so it's like, oh yeah, you can tear it apart, obviously. And so I'm like, you know what, I'm really hungry. Sure, I'm just gonna pour some maple syrup on this, just see what happens. It's gonna be fine. Heat it up a little bit, and I go and I make it, and I'm about to eat it. My dad walks in. He's like, "What are you doing? Why is there syrup on that?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Those are grilled cheese sandwiches." And if you looked at it, there was no way you'd be able to tell that those were grilled cheese. They just looked like that. And so I look, I'm like, yep, there's cheese in there. And so now I'm left, like, basically starving, but I'm like, I've got to eat. So my solution was scrape it off as best I can, even though it basically melted into the bread. Let's just pour some salt on it, because at least then that'll kind of absorb more of the maple syrup, see what happens. And just heat it up to high heaven so the cheese melts a lot. And it wasn't the worst thing ever, but you know,
Ozzy, I don't know if you know this. That's actually how the McGriddle was invented.
Like, the most surprising part about that story to me is they make pre-frozen grilled cheese sandwiches.
No, here's the thing, because my dad randomly, I guess, made grilled cheese sandwiches and put them in the freezer and packaged it like French toast. And it just looked like French toast. And he was like, oh yeah, I made a bunch of grilled cheese. I put them in the freezer. I'm like, why?
This is a very important question. Is it like thick Texas toast or like thin white toast?
It was, I don't know. It was like white toast that he somehow prepared into Texas toast.
Most surprised, like, what causes someone to be like, you know what? I'm gonna make 9 grilled cheese sandwiches and freeze them.
You know what? Listen, my dad's a bad person for a majority of reasons.
For a minority reason. It is a hate crime to hate my father.
No, listen. My dad is a bad person for several reasons. That might be in the top 5, though.
Look,
Wow.
there's a few stories that fucking get me every time. There's the football story. It's
Mario
art.
Galaxy. I think I told you about that one, right, Spencer, with Mario Galaxy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Man,
There's a Mario Galaxy story. There's a story of how you broke
if
your
you
teeth.
think the grilled cheese is
Oh.
if you think the grilled cheese is Ozzy's dad leaving in the freezers are bad, wait till you see what his offspring do.
Oh my god. So Michelle brings up another good one.
Yeah.
So, growing up, my front teeth hated me.
So they
It was
tried
like-
running away from each other. What happened?
No, you're not wrong. So, when I was like 3 or 4, I was just on a trampoline. I was with my brother, a year older than me, has autism, which, you know, it's fine.
How is this relevant to the story?
No, you'll
No,
see.
we're getting there.
Because
We're getting there.
randomly, as I'm bouncing on the trampoline, he just kind of shoves me, and I don't fall back at an angle. No, I just, like, my axis moves, and I just kind of land with my face just hitting face first into the trampoline. Like the rim, the metal rim. Yeah, and so there go my front teeth. They're just gone. I'm like, well, that sucks.
No,
Okay.
actually, you said the fluff.
Yeah, exactly.
Mike Tyson
So-
style.
Perfect. And so for a couple of years, they were just kind of gone until, you know, like the adult teeth grow in. And so they would always tease me for that.
Oh shit!
But
A
that-
couple years? Wow.
That's the thing. And then at 9 years old, you know, teeth fully there, adult teeth, just normal kid. My brother's playing Pikmin on the Wii. My brother's playing Pikmin on the Wii. I'm just sitting there screwing around with, you know, the power adapter for the Wii, where it, like with the power adapter, you have like the cord and then like the big
Oh yeah.
power
The
box
brick.
part of it.
Yeah, the
the brick. So for some reason, me being a dumb kid, I'm laying down on the hardwood floor, staring up at the ceiling while he's playing, and holding the brick right over my face for no explicable reason. And my mom, just from across the house, just calls me. She's like, "Hey, Adam." I go, "What?" Let go of the brick, lands straight on my face, and splits my front teeth in half from the top down.
Oh.
You're like a real life Jan Brady.
It's like if you had to tell stories that you can't say you're from Florida, but just by describing them, people already know where you live.
Oh yeah, Florida man stories. All of them.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
so the bottom half of my front teeth are like fake. Because those were my adult teeth, they just snapped in half. So they're like, all right, well, here you go, I guess.
Jesus. Reminded, by the way, no one asked you to tell these embarrassing like stories of just like pure incompetence with the just lifting weights on the hardwood floor, and by weights I mean the Wii Power brick.
Oh yeah, no, I have every story of mania as a child.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Well, if I was thankful for this podcast before, I'm doubly thankful for it now, so thank you guys for all of that, and I'm looking at in the streams on those quality stories. There'll be fucking 19 minutes of bloopers. People will be like, the episode's done, but there's 20 minutes left. What